good afternoon, good evening, wherever you've been watching or listening to us from. This is the Naija FC Podcast, where we bring you our honest, raw, unfiltered opinions on all the hottest, latest, and trending topics in the world of Nigerian football. You might not always agree with us, but you will always be informed, you will always be educated, and you will always be entertained. As always, I'm your host, AyoT, and I have with me once again my reliable co-host.
Smith Layi. Thank you guys for joining once more. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you very much for joining us, guys. I would just say, please do not be fooled by Smith Layi's Louis Vuitton beanie. We don't have money like that, so please still leave us a super chat. Don't be fooled by Smith Layi's Louis Vuitton beanie. Oh. Please support us
I
with
beg
super
you.
chats. Don't be say, yeah, because Smith Layi now they will see and say, you guys using our super chats to go and buy Louis Vuitton. So please. Don't be fooled though. But yes, Smilai, another Tuesday, another podcast. Lots to discuss today. But as always, I like to start by doing a quick rundown of the past weekend of action and talking about Nigerian players who performed well and are worthy of a little bit of conversation. You long list that I have in front of me, so I will go through this very, very quickly. Two goalkeepers to highlight from this past weekend. First one, Joshua Aloyemi made three saves for Wellington Phoenix in Australia. Stanley Umar kept a clean sheet and made three saves for Chippa United. In defense, Franklin Tebo, one chance created, three clearances, and four goals, one for Salzburg. Ashley Plumter kept a clean sheet for Al Ittihad. Eddie Young Essien with a clean sheet, two blocks, three clearances for Salal. And Christy Uchebe scored for the second game in a row for SL Benfica in their 2-2 comeback draw. In midfield, we had Christopher Boniface with a goal for FC Ararat in Armenia. Jack Ipalibo scored a goal for ZTE. We had Bentley Akabueze with one chance created and five goals, one for Stanley Faspo. Nelson Okeke created one goal scoring chance, made three tackles, and won eight goals for Bohemians Praha. Anthony Dennis with one chance created and five goals, one for Gostepe. Al Hassan Yusuf, two clearances and four goals, one for New England Revolution. We had Wilfred Ndidi with three tackles, three blocks, seven goals, one for Leicester City. Unfortunate end for them. Rafael Onyedika, one chance created and three goals, one for Club Brugge in Belgium. We also had Fred Onyedima with a clean sheet, two dribbles, two tackles, two interceptions, and 11 goals, one for Wycombe Wanderers. Ehide Ukaki scored one goal for Botev Plovdiv, and Henry Uzochukwu scored one goal for FK Suduva. Ibrahim Olawoyin, two chances created and seven goals on for Kaiko Rizespor. He's been quiet lately, so I'm happy to see him on the list this week. Abiodun Oguni, he created two chances for FK Auda, a good performance from him. And then the forwards, Paul Mukairo got an assist while creating four chances and winning five goals for Bolispor in Turkey. Salim Fagolawal scored a goal for NK Istra. Alex Iwobi was on target for Fulham. Anayo Wala scored a fine free kick for Al Arabi Kuwait. Ademola Lukman created three chances for Atalanta in their victory over AC Milan. Filippo Tele scored two goals. The man is in form for FC Basel in Switzerland. Ahmed Adebayo scored a goal for Tatu Tameka in Estonia. Victor Osimhen created one chance for Galatasaray. Of course, he scored today. Edna Imade with one assist and one penalty, one for Granada in Spain. Sadiq Umar was on target for Valencia. Abdulrahman Taiwo got a goal and an assist for Riga in Latvia. Uchenna Ogundu scored one goal for Sanli Faspo in Turkey. Chibuike Ukwemesi was our star of the week with two goals and one assist for OH Leuven in Belgium. Rafiu Durosinmi's form continued with a goal for Victoria Pilsen. Rashid Akombi scored two goals for Sheriff Tiraspol. Bright Edomoyin scored one goal and created one chance for Diosgyori DVTK. Give Monday scored her first goal in the NWSL for Washington Spirits. Monday, A team got an assist for Hillerod. Emeka Namani scored one goal for B93. Larry Kayode was on target for Ericspor. Tolu Arokodare was on target for KRC Genk. Rashidat Ajibade, two chances created, three dribbles completed, six goals on for Atletico de Madrid Femenino. Babatunde Akinshola with one goal and two chances created for AVS. Babajide Akintola with two chances created and eight goals on for Rizespor. And then David Okereke was on target for Gaziantep. Those are the Nigerian players that performed well this past week. Please forgive me if I accidentally left anyone out. We track over 450 different Nigerian football players. So at the end of the day, I'm still a human being. There's the potential to maybe have missed or forgotten one or two people. But, we highlight as many as possible. Looking at the star of the week, I mentioned him already. Chibuikem Ikwemesi, two goals and one assist. If you haven't seen the two goals, beautiful, beautiful finishes. He's a big striker, but he's quick on the ball. He can play with the ball on his feet. And I'm happy with how he's had his season going so far in Belgium, and hopefully, from here he can continue to improve like that. And then the team of the week, we had Stanley Wabale in goal. In defense, we had Franklin Tebo, Ashley Plumpton, and Edidiong Essien. Uchebe just missed out. We had in midfield Wilfred Ndidi and Rafael Onyedika, and then five-man attack: Philip Otele, Alex Iwobi, Edna Emade, Rashida Kombi, and then the star of the week, Chubuikem Iku Emesi. Okay, Smilai, those are the Nigerian players that we've highlighted for their performances this past week. Who stood out the most to you? Who impressed you?
You know, I wanted to mention Alex Iwobi, but I have to talk about Chukwuebuku Ekwemesi. I knew when he started. Yeah, as a under 20 player under Coach Damboso during the COVID time. I remember when they brought him to the National 20 camp. We were like, who is this big striker? Where is he coming from? They said, they just bought him 1 million from one one academy back then. So for me, I'm happy. Things didn't really go well for him in Syria. I'm happy that it's actually what getting back to his best now. I think he played for Salernitana also. And yeah,
Salernitana,
so he
yeah.
scored like a couple of flashes, but I don't think things really actually what kicked off for me. Sometimes when you want to go forward, you go backwards slightly. Then you go and reflect, then you go forward. That is it. Just like Victor Osimhen, then he went to Wolfsburg from to Belgium. Then to never know. He's a good player. He's a good player. He just work on some few things. I'm impressed with him, and although Alex Iwobi too.
And to be honest, like, I mean, how many people actually do well in Salernitana? Like that team is a team that is always struggling. So it's not a surprise when somebody struggles in Salernitana. They don't create that many chances. As a striker, you're feeding on scraps.
Yeah,
So I think Simi Wankwo did okay, but other than that,
yeah,
it's not very easy for players to do well. So
yeah.
shout out to him. I think I'll just highlight very quickly Philip Otele. Continues to play well, continues to impress. We spoke about him last week in the Swiss Super League. Just joining them and hitting this kind of level, their fans are already in love with him. You see the quality of the goals that he's scoring, the quality of his play all around. Scoring two goals in 50 something minutes. He's not even playing full matches and he's just banging in the goals, doing his job and going away. They are currently trying to win the league. So if he's able to win the league, I mean, they are 6 points clear. It looks like everything is going well for them, for him. I'm very, very, very impressed with what he's been able to do so far. 14 matches and he has scored 8 goals. So that kind of output is, high level output. I don't know if maybe somebody's already going to come for him this summer or if he's going to stay, but I want him to continue to hit these heights, and I hope that his management can guide him in the right direction so that he takes the right step. Because, like we keep referencing, when he went to the UAE, everybody was a bit confused because we knew that he was a high potential player. So now that he's playing like this in Europe, scoring all these goals, I hope that his next step is one that everybody will be excited about, and we'll see him continue to grow and continue to rise in his level. So shout out to Philip Otele for that one. Okay, let's touch on a couple other players this past week. I'll start by something that is a relatively sad note, but Super Eagles defender Leon Balogun unfortunately suffered an injury playing for Rangers. He fractured his cheekbone, which is a very interesting injury to have. But the more interesting part of it is that this is the fourth time in his career that he's fracturing his cheekbone.
Mm.
Such a very weird injury that you don't hear about, but head collision, trauma to your cheek, and then, a lot of pain, and you have to go off. I think he probably needs to get surgery on it in order to be able to play. Nothing that can be fixed, but of course, having to miss some time out is always a sad thing. And that's the thing with some certain players, when it's just like freak injuries are the ones that always annoy me. And the funny thing about freak injuries is that a lot of the time they happen to players that people already consider to be injury prone, because something like this now is not like, oh, you pulled your hamstring that will say, oh, well, you just have weak muscles and you always get injured. Just a
Mhm.
random, because you are playing hard, head collision, and then you have this kind of injury. I don't know exactly how long he's going to be out for. I want to imagine that I don't know if there's any mask they can do for him that will allow him to still be able to play. But obviously, as a defender, you're competing in aerial duels a lot, and things like that. if you are injured in your cheek and then they mistakenly hit you there again, it
Uh-huh.
can be just something that's going to aggravate the injury and then even more painful for you. So I don't know how that's going to work, but I wish him quick recovery. Leon Balogun is one that a lot of people have been talking about and touting for him to potentially be back in the Super Eagles squad for at least the friendly matches that we have coming up next month. So I really hope that it's nothing serious and he doesn't have to miss a long period of time. Smith, any thoughts on this Leon Balogun's injury?
Well, I just want to wish him a quick recovery. When he went down, I thought it was maybe injury that he can just try and take off and he return back to the pitch. But when he kicked that post, remember, he kicked the
Mm.
post after that injury. Oh, that's just scientists that something just happened now. But it's cheekbone now. It can be our third marksman. I wouldn't he's not wearing mask again.
Anyway.
Yeah, Victor Osimhen, he can be our third marksman. So for me, I wouldn't. What's it called? Balogun is a strong man, and
Mm.
we fight to be back. It's cheekbone, don't be leg, don't be. It's cheekbone. Now, me no go chop, but Balogun is stronger. So I wish him quick recovery. He's a fighter. You will see him soon, very soon. But
Yeah.
it's just that Rangers are not competing for anything again. So
Mm.
I think the league is not in the hands any longer. They're out of the Europa League. So I don't know if maybe they're still in the cup or so. 'Cause I'm not really sure. Maybe they're still in the cup. So you don't even want to, say you want to rush him back. Maybe you should just recover quickly. But I would like to see
Mm.
me when Nigeria play the Unity Cup.
Mm. They're already out of the Scottish Cup, so it's really just the league that they are playing for.
Yeah,
I think they
so
have 5 more matches in the league. They've
yeah,
already lost. I mean, they are on 66 points. Celtic are on 81 points.
yes.
So that
It's, uh,
is gone.
friendly games towards the end. That's it.
I mean, so maybe they might rest him for the rest of the season. Who knows? But yeah,
Mhm.
hopefully nothing too serious. And like you mentioned, I think he said in an interview that, or after the game, that when he initially got hit, where he said that when you have this kind of injury, it takes maybe a couple minutes for the pain to really kick in. So he
Mhm.
first thought, every player now, you first want to soldier on. You want to believe that you can keep going. But as the pain just hits you, he just said, no, 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 no. He can't take this and he has to go off. Unfortunate one, but wishing him all the very best, wishing him quick recovery. Um,
Recovery,
okay, let us go forward. Smilai, your guy, your man, a player that you like a lot, that we both like to be honest, but you've been very, very big on him from the start of the season. He recently is having slightly bad trend. I'm talking about Chrysanthos Uche. This is a player that has been tipped for a potential Super Eagles call up, but unfortunately for him, in his last game, he got a red card for a very bad tackle. I watched that. I said, you want to break this guy's leg. And Uche, with all his muscle mass, you know that he's not, if he step on you like that, it
yeah.
must be very painful. But why I say it's a slightly bad trend is because he has now been sent off twice
Yeah.
in only a matter of 4 matches.
Oh, like yes.
How do you feel about this? Does he need to be more careful, or is it just one of those unfortunate things that can happen?
He needs to work on his attitude. You know, that's one thing that defines a player. He needs to work on his attitude, the pitch, because when he was sent off, he wanted to fight. You
Mm,
know, after the sent off, he wanted to fight. So for me, I think he needs to work on his attitude. No, fantastic player, no doubt. You need to look at people around him. They need to advise him more. Guys, forget that this guy is just playing his first pro season
season. Mm,
in his life. So is this the first time of him being a professional? So if the agent is watching or people around him, you need to get some people around him. Maybe they go and employ you, get people around him just to tell him what it takes to be, because all these things, he's doing everything on the pitch. We also need to know how to carry himself on the pitch too. That tackle for me was a bad tackle. If you need to, come on, what was the point of going to the referee? That's why they have to hold him back.
mm,
If you suddenly attack that referee there, it might be a 7 match ban. The season is over
mm,
for him. So I'm hearing that there's some big clubs coming for him this summer from a reliable source.
mm.
I'm telling you, some big clubs coming for him, both home. There's a Nigerian FC in in Spain coming for him. Nigerian FC now. So I don't there's a Nigerian FC coming for him. He knows that. There's also some clubs abroad.
Hmm.
big clubs coming for him. So he need to watch these things and and control himself. Good player, I'm supporting him, but he needs to work on this.
Hmm. I mean, I think he has to definitely be more careful. You don't, the things that you don't want to build that reputation of being a player that
Yeah.
makes all these dangerous tackles or doesn't have control over his anger or things like that, because you might feel like you're being unfairly treated, but once you develop that kind of reputation, that's when you will start to see the meaning of unfair
Okay.
treatment, because every referee now is going to come into the match already in their mind, already thinking that, oh, this guy, I need to watch what he's doing. I need to watch him closely. And then that's how you do a very small thing. And then all of a sudden now they want to be sending you off. They want to be giving you yellow cards for no reason.
Uh-huh.
And I know that sometimes he gets frustrated because the truth is he does get fouled a lot.
Mm-hmm.
He gets kicked a lot. Is a blessing and a curse. He's very strong. So when he protects the ball and somebody is trying to get to it, unfortunately, they'll be kicking him, trying to get the ball. He wins quite a number of fouls like that. But some of the time, they don't give him the free kick, and then he starts to get slightly frustrated. But,
Yeah.
it's your first season, like Lai said, just manage, compose yourself, just learn how to deal with these things. Let your coach, like, try to at least put some pressure in the media for them to protect you a little bit more. Even though, I mean, you're not yet at that level that they'll really protect you like that. But it's just about being a bit calmer, hoping that things go well. I mean, I want to say that this one is just a, two off. I'll call it, it's just a two off. But I hope that is not something that becomes more often, because already he tends to get yellow carded, quite often. He's one of those
Yeah.
guys that gets yellow carded quite often, but you don't want it to turn into something that you're now getting red carded often. It
Hopefully.
becomes an issue. And I know that it's because you're fighting hard, it's because you're working for the team, you're trying to win the ball back, you're trying to win tackles. So that's the reason why you might be considering. But if it's that you need to go and practice your tackling a bit more to become, because at the end of the day, as much as you're trying to help the team, you don't want to become a liability to the team as well. If you
Yeah.
start making too many of these errors, considering free kicks, going one man down, because that game now, they lost the game 1-0. I'm not saying it's his fault, but they can easily look at it that, oh, if they had 11 men, they would have had a chance to equalize and potentially come back into the game. So you don't want all these things. And of course, the higher you go, the more media attention you get, the
Yeah.
more fans are loud about certain things. Because now, if Getafe fans talk, nobody will even know if Getafe fans they talk. But
Mm-hmm.
if you join a bigger team, these things become more spotlighted. The fans have a louder voice, and yeah, I like him. I wish him all the very best, and hopefully, like we said, hopefully these were just two random incidents and it doesn't become a repeated pattern. But two red cards in 4 games is like, whoa, what is what is going on? Okay, so that's that on Chris Santos Uche. Wishing him all the very best. Okay, moving forward quickly, I want to talk about this boy, who continues to impress and continues to do well. Last summer, there were lots of talks about potential transfers, and then unfortunately, he got injured and he failed the medical when he was supposed to make his big move. He has come back from his injury and he has just been banging in the goals. I'm talking about Rafiu Durosinmi, relatively unknown striker in Nigerian terms, for a long time. But now a lot more people are starting to notice him. A lot more people are starting to see what he's doing. And he now has 3 goals and 2 assists in his last 4 matches. We know that he also scored in the Europa League, against Lazio and has been impressing since he came back. But like, how big are you on this boy? Like, is this somebody that people should really, really, really pay attention to if they're not already?
Yeah, he's a guy that you can see the raw talents there. He's another product of the field system because
Mm,
he left Nigeria unnoticed, not capped at any level. I don't know how he left Nigeria without nobody noticing that this guy could play for our underage team.
mm,
So, he's doing his bits. Unfortunately, he failed. Maybe he'll have been the Omar Mamouche now. You know,
who
because
knows?
he knows. So he failed the medical, and I think it was out for like a year or so. So it was out to not play football. For me, I'm happy that he's actually what they're doing well now. Good talent, doing well in the Czech league. But I just hope that the next move is very crucial for him.
Mm,
Because now, because he scored against Lazio. maybe agent or some scouts, they say that hey, Lazio is linked to all those. There's no substance in that link. We've been hearing those things too, but the next move is very very important for him. So for me, I think if Frankfurt still wanted to, they go to Champions League. They are a selling club. They
Hmm.
don't. They can ask him to go and they can buy to go and replace Omar Mamouche. You know, for me, I think that he's a player that is a talented player. I like the way he moves the ball. That's one thing I like about him. So let's wait and see. Next move is going very important. There's a big summer for Uche Santos and this boy, Rafiu
Hmm.
Durosinmi.
I mean, this is going to be a big summer for Nigerian players in general. I think we'll still do a video talking about Nigerian players that should be
Potential
on the
moves.
move, and potential moves.
It's called sensible transfers.
Yeah, because there are a lot of them that when
Hmm.
you look at, you say, okay, this might be time for it. I mean, we know the Osimhens, the Lookmans are already on the move, but there are some other ones here and there that,
Hmm.
potentially. But for Rafiu Durosinmi, I like him. I like him as a player. I want him to just keep on doing what he's doing. I mean, he's only 22 years old.
Hmm.
So, that there's still a lot of time for him to really grow into his own. Um, Maybe the Czech league is not his level, but I mean, he just came back from injury, so it makes sense for him to, get back to his feet here. Even if you look at him at club, they don't start him in every single match. So I think they are still kind of managing him, wanting to make sure that he's back to 100% strength before they give him a heavy workload. His team is a relatively good team in the Czech league, so he doesn't really have to worry about that too much. They're competing for the title, even though they're probably not going to beat Slavia Prague. Um, but I like him. I like him. He's a good finisher, good worker, good in the air. Reminds me a lot of Victor Osimhen. But I mean, maybe he doesn't play with quite the same energy as Victor Osimhen, but he has a lot of similar attributes, I think, in terms of his finishing, in terms of his playing the air, in terms of just his physicality when he's playing and how he just looks like he's always trying. But at the same time, looks a very good player when he's on the ball. So I like him. I like him. Hopefully he can keep on scoring. Maybe he plays another season in a Czech. Who knows? Scores like 20 something goals. Let's people really really start to talk about him, because
Hmm.
even though he was on the verge of a big move last summer, this time, coming back from injury, I don't know if teams will maybe be willing to take that chance that he's going to be able to hit the heights that he was hitting before. Who knows? So we have to kind of wait and see what happens. But if he gets a reasonable, tangible offer, I think it might be worth taking. Go to the French League on, go to the German Bundesliga. Playing for me is important. Play in Europe, play even if it's not Champions League, play in the Europa League. Show
Yeah.
yourself at that level, because at the end of the day, those are the things that really stand out for you. We look at the striker like Victor Boniface. It's his Europa League performances that really, really helped him to get that his move to Bayer Leverkusen.
Yeah.
So if you're able to show yourself in those European competitions, everybody's watching. By the time you score 6, 7 goals in the Europa League, teams around Europe will be asking, "Ah, who is that striker?"
Hmm.
And hopefully, Sha, I think he still has a very bright future ahead of him. He still has a very bright future ahead of him. Okay, let us move forward to another player, Super Eagles player this time, scored a goal over the weekend. Alex, Big 17, Iwobi. Alex Iwobi scored against Chelsea, but unfortunately they fell to a very late defeat. Iwobi now has 9 goals and 5 assists this season, currently having statistically his best season so far.
Hmm.
Very interesting. I want to say though, Smilai, you saw this video as well. I'm guessing, was shared. Our friend OJB shared it to us in the group. Where a Nigerian journalist was essentially saying, in fact, it's not essentially saying, in his own words, he said it will be no savvy play ball.
Hmm. He's not a journalist.
So what was he?
He's a content creator.
Okay,
he's not, he's not a
okay,
journalist. He's a content creator.
but he said it will be no savvy play ball.
Hmm.
I know that 9 goals and 5 assists is not lighting it out the park. Of course, we know. We're not saying he's a superstar. But Smilai, do you agree with that sentiment? Say it will be no Sabi play ball.
You have to look at the messenger and look at who is talking. It's you that are looking at you are taking his words seriously. I don't take his words seriously. He likes to be center of attention. He likes to, that's why I said content creator. He likes to say something that is controversial so that the people can, it can be trending. You are looking for him. Why do you say that now? Engagement and everything. So if it's for him saying that it will be knows how to play ball. I don't take him seriously. But let's just look at the matter very well. For a player to you play, he played in Switzerland league. No, in Sweden's league. I think maybe one season. I said I'm home from the 19. I don't know.
Like, I not come here to cause fights.
No, no, no. I know he was playing for Sharks before. I think
Mm.
Sharks or Sweden. I said I'm home. So it was this petite winger. He never made anything. But I don't want to go into his detail. But Alex Iwobi, for you to come out and say that you don't understand football.
Mm.
Alex Iwobi is a gifted player. He said that how many chances they create to this thing. Where did they play Alex Iwobi for Super Eagles? You know, for example, now he's playing his best football under Marco Silva. Marco Silva took him to Everton. He brought him again to Fulham. He's playing. He got that freedom to play anywhere up front. And somebody with 9 goals, 5 assists, 14 goals contribution, is more than average. If you look at the average, midfielders' performance in the Premier League, how many goals did Kevin De Bruyne score this season?
Hmm.
I don't want to I don't want to start comparing. Just for you to know the level that Alex Iwobi is currently. If Alex Iwobi is not how old is he now? Is he
Maybe
20?
28.
If Alex Iwobi was 24, you'd be seeing some clubs running around looking for
Mm.
ways to actually what get him. He strikes well with his left foot, doing well with his right foot, doing well, creating opportunities. So, I don't know why some people say that he cannot actually what play. How can he not sabi play? He don't have almost 85 caps, for the Super Eagles. I might criticize him or his limitation, but for you to come and say that he doesn't sabi play ball, come on. You don't sabi play ball, you see. Why you don't do well?
See, that's one thing with me. Like, I don't understand why a lot of Nigerians, fans, pundits, journalists, media, content creators, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand why people just get joy in bashing and criticizing our players. Now I
Yeah.
understand that negativity sells. It gets you views. It gets you clicks. I mean, look at what the person said about Boniface at that time. She got
Yes.
more attention than she has ever gotten in her life. So,
Yes.
but I don't fully understand the rationale behind it. Because if you want to say, oh, Iwobi is not as good as Salah, oh, he's not as good as Vinicius, oh, he's not as good as anybody, I can understand. Like, I mean, fine, he's not that good. But he is our own.
Mm.
Nobody is saying lie and say he is what he is not.
Yeah.
But when you just blatantly come and say, oh, he knows Sabi play ball, come on, like that is just a factually untrue statement.
Mm-hmm.
It's the reason why boys in Agege will say, I'm better than this person. I just not get opportunity. Everybody just wants to believe that, oh, they are better. This person is not good enough. When people in the media say things like this, I don't fully understand it. He made a point of, oh, do Arsenal let go of players that are good, blah, blah, blah. This one's one that from Arsenal he got. And I'm like, okay, let's even say he did not cut it at Arsenal.
Mm-hmm.
This boy has played consistently in the English Premier League for how many years now?
Mm-hmm.
This is a league that Nigerian players are just dreaming.
Uh-huh.
Same way they even just managed play one season in the Premier League.
Uh-huh.
But this guy has been here his entire career.
Yeah.
He's showing that at the age where you expect him to be getting to his best, he's playing his best football.
Mm-hmm.
What's the point of trying to bash him? What's the
Mm-hmm.
point of trying to bring him down? Again,
Mm-hmm.
I've said this thing on the show many times. In the context of Nigerian players, we obviously have to look at Nigeria class. Nigeria is one country that I have not fully understood how we like to insult our own, in the sense that other countries that don't even have players as good as Nigeria, they big them up, they hype them, they're excited for them. If they play a match and they play badly, yeah, you might criticize them after that game. But it's not a constant everyday thing of just trying to bring a player down and just try to make it seem, oh, they're overhyped, oh, they're this, oh, they're not good, oh, they're that. And it's like, come on, like at some point, support your own now. Like
Mm-hmm.
at some point, support your players, like back them up, like big them up. Like, it's different. Nobody is saying come and say that Iwobi is better than Salah. No, that one you're just lying. But for me, is I don't know. When I watch it, I just like it's so funny. And then a lot of the time they will start doing throwbacks to this or that. Oh, what Finidi George, what he was doing in his time, or JJ, what JJ was doing, things like that. And I'm just like, see, nostalgia is a hell of a drug. Is a hell of a drug. It is something that can be positive and can be negative. Sometimes it's a good thing to reminisce and to enjoy and remember the good days, but it's also a thing that doesn't allow some people sometimes for people to move on. It doesn't
Uh-huh.
allow people to move on
Mm-hmm.
because you keep on saying, but this player or that player, but this one. It doesn't mean that you cannot support who is currently there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when we get better, we'll be happy for better. But if it's what we have right now, please, I just always encourage people support, support, support.
Mhm.
You know,
I will give you a
just,
comment, but there's no super chat there, so
yeah,
that's
yeah. I mean, see,
I will not respond to the person.
again, for me, I have not fully understood when people make inflammatory statements like that. Because let's be honest, it's not about agreeing or disagreeing with somebody's opinion. If you come out and say Alex Iwobi no sabi play ball, that is just a factually untrue statement.
Yes.
It's not something about whether you agree or disagree. It is factually untrue.
Uh-huh.
It's different if you say, oh, Alex Iwobi is not as good as somebody.
Uh-huh.
Opinion. We
That is
might
fact.
debate it. Oh, Alex Iwobi is not as good as people think he is. Okay, fine. That's a debate. We can, have opinions on it. But Alex Iwobi no sabi play ball is just factually untrue.
Untrue.
You cannot be in the English Premier League playing for how many years and you know sabi play ball.
Uh-huh.
It just will not happen. Maybe you can even maybe if you say okay, you know sabi play ball, you manage to sneak 1 season or 2 seasons. But for the length of time that he has been there,
Mhm.
Isabi. Maybe we're not happy with him, yes, but Isabi.
Mhm.
Let's be honest. And at some point, like we need to start supporting our own a bit more.
Uh-huh.
There's no reason that after he has a good game, you go
Uh-huh.
in the media to talk negatively about him. I don't get it.
I don't know why you just because
No,
we're just looking at what he said, but I don't take his words from that. I don't know if it's seriously.
no, I mean, for me, I just, sometimes it just pains me when people talk like this because when people that have voices in the media say, similarly, sometimes if I even always say, Yusuf, you are a bit so, because for me, I just look at it that when people that have voices in the media say things like this, it encourages and enables fans to also come, as somebody else now one day can be arguing with his friends and he will say the same thing and he will believe that he's right because he heard somebody that he trusts and has been on radio for a long time saying it. So he too will believe that. Well, it must be true. You get what I'm saying? So for me, but I don't think necessarily think that that's an opinion thing. I
Mhm.
think it is factually untrue.
Untrue, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let us keep the conversation going. I'm just going to say final call to everyone that is on Instagram. Please join us on YouTube because the stream is going to end now. So please, if you're on Instagram, if you're on Facebook, if you're on X/Twitter, please join us on YouTube now.
Uh-huh.
Thank you very, very much. Okay. Let's talk quickly about a couple other players. We'll move through those ones fairly quickly. I want to say congratulations to former Nigeria under 20 midfielder Tochukwu Nadi. He just got promoted to the Belgian Jupiler Pro League with his club Zolta
Mhm.
Waregem. This is a player that I've interviewed in the past. Nice kid, interesting person. You can see he's a happy boy. Unfortunately, he hasn't really been able to establish himself at his club, been
Mhm.
coming off the bench in a couple games. He had a spell where he was doing very well, but unfortunately lost his place in the squad, and now he's been coming off the bench. But he's been promoted. Playing in the Belgian Pro League is a league that gives you eyes, from the bigger leagues. People are always watching the Belgian Pro League. I mean, look at Onyedika, we're hearing about potential move. Look at the likes of Arokodare. So I'm hoping that in preseason he can work hard, he can get into the first team, and he can get games under his belt and can actually impress. Because I like him as a player, I just need to see that improvement. For me, sometimes I get a little bit sad. Not that everybody has to develop at the same pace, nothing like that. Everybody's running a different race. But sometimes I get a little bit sad when a player joins a team and then it seems like as if things are not just quite going in the direction that they're supposed to be going or at the pace that you would hope that it goes in. It doesn't mean that he cannot still be a superstar in the next couple years. You never can tell. But I really hope that he can establish himself in the Jupiler Pro League, can play good games there, and can continue to progress in his career. But yeah, congratulations to Tochu Kunadi. Smilai, do you have anything to say about that?
No, good player, good player. My issue is just that he needs to know that there's a different level to youth football. So he needs to, fantastic youth player. I watched him when he was in Bote Club. He played for Nigeria at 22 at that time. People linked him to Werder Bremen, That's what I say. Linked him to different clubs, but he went to Zolte in the second division. I wish him well. I just hope that he can be able to build on this thing. Fantastic youth player, but he needs to know that there's more to senior football, than just this youth football. So he's going to be playing the Belgian Pro League now. So there's one thing is to play in the Belgian Pro League. I hope that he can work out. They will not loan him again to the second division. That's
Mm,
another thing. So he needs to work out. Fantastic player. I wish him luck.
Okay. Okay. Moving on quickly, let's talk about the Super Eagles player. Unfortunate for him, bad news. Wilfred Ndidi has now been relegated from the English Premier League with his club, Leicester City. Leicester City have been shambolic this season. I mean, they switched their coaches. They brought in with Van Nistelrooy. Nothing really changed. Continue to lose games. In fact, now, Tef, if they score one goal, they celebrate like they've won the trophy because to score goal, now they had them pass. Very disappointing season. Another relegation for Wilfred Ndidi. Smith, what are your thoughts on this?
For me, I just think that another relegation, another sad moment. Right from the start that when they were, signing what's it called, the man from Nottingham Forest, the former manager, when they appointed him, he's a good relegation fighter.
Steve
You know
Cooper.
that Steve Cooper. It's just that they are already preparing to fight relegation because he
Mm,
was fighting relegation all through Nottingham Forest. So they brought him again to fight relegation. So for me, another sad moment. I don't know, maybe he's gonna move. I don't think he did enough to attract, offers to stay in the division. Maybe Leeds United and Burnley can say, okay, they want to get him, but it's just sad. Know that it's looking beyond football now. For me, I just a player who wants leagues, they want to take him to to Barcelona, Bayern Munich, Manchester United. But it's just not happening for Wilfred. So for me, when if he plays in championship, does not take that anything away from him. He has been playing there before. So he just sad. He just sad. He just sad.
Do you think he should leave Leicester?
For just for a final bite, because I want to tell you, if it's, I'm not sure that they go come back because this Texas team is very poor. The last team that Maresca handled better than this team.
Mm,
So I'm not sure they don't come back. If he leaves and he goes, no, I just think that he should leave. But he should not go and go to Southampton. He should leave. If he should leave, and I don't know, maybe Palace can sign him. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe he wants to leave. I don't just know. I just think that he should just take this last final push just to get something different. He has been there for so many years,
mm,
just to get something different.
mm. Do you think Wilfred Ndidi's relegation with Leicester City, do you think that it's an accurate reflection of his abilities as a player?
That is a very tough question, but for me, I don't think he's been improving. In my own opinion, I don't think. I think there's too many players in that position better than him in the Premier League. So if you line those guys up too, just realize that it's likely one behind them. In those things, because for me, I think Idrissa Gueye, if you look at the Everton, look at is it Muntenesi of Wolves,
Mm,
just realize that those guys can do something more,
mm,
than than what he's doing. So then he was one of the best in the Premier League, but some guys are just above him now. That's what I
mm,
just think. So, if you line those guys up to just realize that which club can he join? I know he's better than the guys in Southampton, Ogeshuku and Aribo. I think
mm.
it's better than that. He's I think for me it's better than is he better than the guy, what's he called? Kevin Phillips, of Ipswich Town. So just look at the guys in that relegation dogfight too. For me, I don't think it's much better than the guys staying in the Premier League.
Mm. I mean, it's a tough one. First of all, unfortunate one. Unfortunate, sad to see him go down. Relegation is something that I don't wish on any player. Multiple relegations is something that I don't wish on even players that I don't like. It's just not a nice feeling. It's not a nice thing to have on your CV. Not that it might necessarily affect you, but it just kind of sends that signal that maybe you're just a low level top division team performer. You can do well for a struggling team in a top division, but it's hard for you to really establish yourself. There's only a handful of players that get relegated, but everybody sees them and oh, okay, this guy has a bright future. Oh, this guy is a big talent, and big teams will still come for you. I still think he can do a job in the Prem. Honestly, I think so. I think Leeds just came up, Burnley just came up. Maybe he can do something with them. Who knows? You mentioned Everton. I mean, Abdoulaye Dokore is a good player, Sha,
Uh,
to be fair. And Idrissa Gana does his job when he needs to do his job. But okay, let me ask this question: would it be a bad thing if Ndidi joined a team but was on the bench?
I think if he wants to improve, he
He's
needs.
not improving again at this age. Let's be realistic. At 27, 28,
I don't
you're
think.
not you're not really improving that much.
I think he needs to be playing to stay fit and relevant. So I think he needs to go to a place that he can be playing. If he can, if he got join Everton, it's going to be like a team. Is he Irenegbon, the Nigerian guy,
Irregular.
Iregunam, yeah, coming, coming just probably as substitute, most games.
Mm,
So when you have a Jage, you have a Decorate that can play that role very well.
mm.
You know, you also have, you go to Wolves, they move the ball quickly. You go to what's it called? There's this young player in Crystal Palace, very young player in the midfield. You look at those guys. So even in your team, Chelsea, we know that Chelsea has been
The pack midfielder.
midfielder. So it's just hard. It's just hard to see a team he can actually fitting. You know,
Hmm.
the gap between him and Declan Rice now is like heaven and earth.
Declan Rice is balling now.
So you cannot, for me. So I always say is you go to Saudi Arabia.
But these are the people that will still, if he goes there, it will come and insult him and say he doesn't have ambition. His career has gone down. This one's on down, down, down. So I don't necessarily agree. Even somebody in the comments said it has reflected in his game for the national team. Again, for me, these are people that, with all due respect, I feel like don't really understand when they watch football. Because I will keep saying this thing. People think I'm defending Ndidi. I don't see these two matches that we just played. I don't see what he did that is a reflection of, he's going down, his performance is dropping. He was tired and did not chase one guy. All of a sudden, he cannot play for the national team. Oh, he's not good enough. I don't want to get into that, but I don't know how people watch, because in those two games, he did a very, very good job. The same thing that he always does, closing the spaces, winning balls back, winning tackles. Unfortunately, he was tired. Coach no sub him off. He didn't chase one guy. They scored goal. Everybody has turned it into he cannot play for national team again. I don't know. But obviously, injuries did not help. We know that he got his fair share of injuries, knocks, those kinds of things. I don't necessarily think that he's going to improve as a player at this age. That's the truth. I don't think he's going to improve. But at least if he can be a steady Eddie, he's 28 years old. If he can be a steady Eddie, play for a mid-table team, not being a yo-yo player, going up, coming down, going up, coming down. Or maybe I think by now, Sef, in suppose don't already become a British citizen. So maybe it's time for him to take his talents to like Italy, or maybe it's time for him to take his talents to Germany. I mean, look at Frank Onyeka. Frank Onyeka was struggling for game time. Frank Onyeka was struggling for game time in Brentford, went to FC Augsburg in Germany, and all of a sudden now Onyeka is making things happen. He's looking like a good player. People are talking big about him again. People are saying, "Oh, he's better than Ndidi." But this is the same Onyeka that was on the bench consistently at Brentford, and people do not really believe in him. But again, that just is how things can change very, very quickly in football. Today, you're on top of the world, you're balling, people like you. Tomorrow, you're out of favor. Everybody's talking about you as if you just strolled into your career, and or as if your father called somebody and told them to sign you, and that's how you got your career. But I like Wilfred Ndidi. I respect him for what he has done in his career. 90% of Nigerian footballers, if not 95% of Nigerian footballers, will pay to have Ndidi's career. The only thing that is missing is maybe the trophies. I mean, he won championship, so at least he has that champion. He won FA Cup as well.
Mhm.
So he has those two. But, most players don't even get a chance to play at that kind of level.
Hmm.
So for me, maybe take your talents to Italy, Germany, France. You can leave England and go and shine elsewhere. Don't go to Turkey, but leave England, go and shine elsewhere. In fact, self, I wouldn't even mind if he goes to maybe one of these Eastern European clubs that is playing in the Champions League. Maybe go and I don't really like. I wouldn't mind too much. Like every dog has his day. You know,
Mhm.
you play at a level at some point. You're no longer. I mean, Messi is in America. Ronaldo is in Saudi. Like at some point, you realize that okay, maybe it's time for a change. Go explore a different place, explore a different land, a different culture, different style of football, different expectations. Spotlight is not really on you like that. People are not really expecting too much. Just go somewhere and just relax, show yourself, and by the grace of God, things work out for you. But yeah, shout out to Wilfred Ndidi. Unfortunate one, but it is what it is, man. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Okay. Let us get into some potential transfers. Transfer talk. Let's get into some transfer talk. A bunch of different Nigerian players' names have been brought up in these transfer conversations. But obviously, when the season ends, when we get into the summer where things are really moving, we'll discuss these things in details. But for now, I want to highlight a couple players, just a couple players. One player that I want to talk about is a player that recently made the Super Eagles debut, and of course, we are almost sure that if things work out, he'll be on the move in the summer. I'm talking about Tolu Arokodare. He just scored his 21st goal of the season for KRC Genk. Unfortunately, they are blowing their title challenge. But that's another conversation. They are literally blowing their title challenge. But they fell to a 2-1 defeat. The guy that you like, Promise David, scored 2 goals in that game. But Tolu, is expected to leave. Is expected to leave. Is expected to join another team. My question now, Smith Layi, as you look at the guy, the kind of player he is, whatever potential you think he can get to, where do you think is the right destination? Maybe in terms of league or in terms of club for Tolu Arokodare.
Difficult question because I've watched him several times. I just think that he's a guy that there's still a lot of work for him to do. There's still a lot of things for him to improve on as a player. So, you know, to tell you that it leaks with suit him is just for me Turkey.
Mhm.
Yes, for me Turkey. I think he's going to actually do well in Turkey. People are talking about Premier League. I don't think so. I don't think so because I don't think so. I just think that it's someone that likes to put the ball on the plate for him. Even that play itself, it's still a shake small, small.
Hmm.
So for me, he just needs a lot of things to actually want to work on. It's a guy that can finish well, but I'm not really sure about his footwork and everything. Sometimes I'm not really sure about it. How aggressive he is, I'm not really sure about that. So the pressing ability, I'm not really sure about it. So there's still a lot of things to actually want to work on. But I knew that there's Transport is actually was interested in his signature.
Hmm.
And some people are so mentioning Newcastle United. I'm not thinking Newcastle that I want to play in Champions League. We're looking for to buy. I don't think so.
Hmm.
I think I think Turkey might be the last. Maybe they can sign him to go and play Victor Osimhen. For me, I don't think maybe French league back again.
Hmm.
Like do the urban thing.
You know,
So
I've been thinking about this thing too, and I'm like, I really don't know where he will fit in. With all due respect to him, I personally don't see him as a Premier League player.
I don't see.
Maybe he can be a Chris Wood. He can be a physical presence. Who knows? He can be one of those good in the air type of players, get the job done, bang in
It
10
doesn't time
goals.
his jump very well.
I mean,
It doesn't time his jump very well. That's
maybe
another thing.
maybe gets his 10 goals a season, but I don't see him as this striker that is going to come and be ruthless and lead a team in a title charge or anything like that. I also would agree with you that see Turkey might be the most sensible destination, but the way I know he thinks of himself, the way I know he talks about himself, the way I know he carries himself is somebody that will want somewhere with bigger name, bigger limelight, bigger league, wants that kind of expectation for himself. Some people say, I think maybe you said Germany. I don't know if he has PTSD from Germany because when he was in Germany before, he wasn't ready and it showed that he wasn't ready. He has gone to France. He didn't do well in France. So it doesn't mean you have to keep on backing yourself. You have to keep on believing in yourself. You have to keep on expecting that you will go and perform. I just think it's a very tricky situation, and I really hope that his agents, his management, they're able to get a good move for him. it, it's a tricky one, man. Maybe you should go to Empoli, or you should go to Torino, or you should go to Udinese, one of all these clubs, and just try to be that goal poacher, that fox in the box type of striker. But when I look at him, it's hard for me to see him ready or expecting him to ball at any of the top leagues just yet. I don't believe that Newcastle will sign him. Even if Newcastle sign him, he's just going to be on the bench. But I personally don't think that Newcastle going into the Champions League is going to sign him. Um, Obviously, even if they sell Isak, I don't think that Isak is who they are going to, or Arokodare is who they are going to want to replace Isak with. I just don't see it happening. Besiktas and Galatasaray, Smith Layi, you mentioned maybe he can go and replace Victor Osimhen, but those two clubs are in Turkey, so those seem like more likely destinations. Or he can go and play under Fenerbahce, under Mourinho at Fenerbahce. Mourinho is a player that, I mean, is a coach that is good with strikers and knows how to improve strikers. Mourinho also likes his physical strikers. So maybe if he goes there to play with Enesiri, Edin Dzeko is already aging. So maybe if he goes to Fenerbahce and he plays with Enesiri under Mourinho, maybe he can improve as a striker. Who knows? But I think his next move is going to be very crucial because as a player, if he goes to another top league, and he doesn't do well again, people might start to really lose that faith and believe that they have in him within, like, maybe scouting circles and things like that. Because scoring these goals in Belgium is nice, but you have to translate it at the higher level. You have to translate it at the higher level. But yes, shout out to Tolu Arokodare, man. 21 goals in any league is not easy. He's doing very well. And hopefully, whichever move he makes, hopefully it can kick on. I think his club have already resigned to the fact that they're probably losing him this summer. So it's just about which step he takes. Let me just quickly say thank you to Isabel for the super chats. Thank you very much. You guys need to follow in her footsteps. She's our first gifter for tonight. So thank you very much, Isabel. We appreciate your support. As always, guys, if you want me to highlight your comments on the screen, please do not forget to hit when you click the comments button. You have a chance to leave a super chat or to leave a super sticker, and that way you're able to support our content. You're able to just show us your support, and we really, really appreciate it as you do so. Thank you very much. Smilai, anything else to say on Tolu before I move on?
It's just that I just hope that he can show what improve on his game and be better. So, people say that there was a player too that played for the same gang. He even came to announce that when I leave, when I'm because I'm leaving now. And that's what I didn't leave for. He came to announce it that when he scored 2 goals in was it gang. So market can be very funny sometimes. You
True,
know? Yeah.
true.
He said that when I'm leaving, he said this. I think he won the Ebony shoe also. He said this, that he's leaving. For a player to say that he's confident, but not knowing that maybe he didn't agree anything. So
Mm.
football is funny.
Football can definitely be funny. Somebody said I think it's better than Onuachu. I just, for me, I find it funny how somebody did it consistently for many years, did it better for many years, and
Uh-huh.
you just want to come out and outrightly say he's better than that person. Because what Onuachu achieved at Genk, Arokodare has not done half.
Yeah.
So I don't see what you can use to back it up. Maybe
Yeah.
you think he has a higher ceiling, maybe, but
Uh,
Onuachu, they fear him in Belgium. If he goes back today like this, all the
uh,
defenders will be shaking.
yeah.
They fear Onuachu in Belgium. I know, like, he might not be the best player in terms of Nigerian fans' likeness, but let's not downplay what he did in that country.
Mhm.
Okay, let's talk about another Nigerian player, Super Eagles player, one of the best defenders in all of European football this season. I'm talking, of course, about Ola Aina, one of our in boys, one of the few players that Nigerian fans don't bash, don't insult. Everybody is happy with him and what he's doing for both club and for country. I know, having a fantastic season with Nottingham Forest in the English Premier League, they are potentially qualifying for the UEFA Champions League. Or at the very least, I think they will qualify for the Europa League.
Mhm.
But Ola Aina's performances have not gone unnoticed by the rest of the teams in England and even abroad. Do you think, first of all, do you think it is going to be right for Ola Aina to leave Nottingham Forest, assuming they qualify for the Champions League?
For me, if he plays, if you watch the game against Tottenham yesterday, realize that they are really missing him. Based on the Tofulo and the other guy, Nico Williams. They are not really doing well in those areas. So he's a player that they would pay anything to retain. For me, should they leave? I think if he did not leave Nottingham Forest, that is going to be the final big move in his career.
Hmm.
If he leaves Nottingham Forest, that is, he's making one final push. He's fulfilling his potential. He's got a chance to win trophy, for that club. For you to, if Liverpool says that they want you, if Man City says that they want you, these guys have the potential of what? Of winning the Premier League. With due respect, Nottingham Forest. Nottingham Forest cannot win Premier League with counter attack. They cannot win the Premier League with counter attack.
Hmm.
If this was like half season and they're not close to this Champions League, I would have said that they will not make it up.
Hmm.
Because teams are now giving them the ball to play. Before they take the ball from them, they counter those teams. But
Hmm.
now, teams are now giving them the ball to play. They don't want the ball. They want you to have the ball. So, for me, I just think that if Ola Aina wants to move, he needs to move now.
Hmm.
He needs to move now. And for to know that Chelsea wants him again, they thought Chelsea might be, the golden boy, the boy that was, the young boy now becoming a man,
Hmm.
Ola Aina, So it's gonna be a glorious homecoming, If it's also Liverpool, I'm not against that, It's gonna show what fits in and play in the Champions League. If it's Newcastle, it's not a bad move too. So, but for me, I just saying that it needs more stability. With due respect to that Forest, I don't think they will qualify for the Champions League if they if they qualify. I don't think they will.
Hmm. You
They'll be
know,
like, yeah.
the thing is very tricky because Nottingham Forest are having a fantastic season.
Mm-hmm,
But obviously, when you look at Nottingham Forest, the kind of level that you expect from them usually, you cannot place money that they are going to have this kind of season again next year.
mm-hmm,
It's hard for you to really trust that that's going to happen again.
mm-hmm,
Now, if they qualify for the UEFA Champions League, can we say that, oh, he should just jump and leave? I'm sure he wants to play Champions League football. I'm sure he wants to be a part of the success. He wants to, enjoy it with his teammates, with the fans, with the
mm-hmm,
team. So for me, I think it all depends on the opportunity that comes up. If it is a Liverpool and it's supposed to be a replacement for Trent Alexander-Arnold, who seems to be jumping ship and maybe going to Spain, why not? Liverpool is a team that is going to contend for titles in every season.
mm-hmm,
So absolutely nothing wrong. If it is a Newcastle, Newcastle is a team that is going to be in Europe
mm-hmm,
and is going to be trying to compete with the big boys. They might not necessarily win the league. I mean, they just won their first trophy in a very long time.
mm-hmm,
But they are going to be thereabouts. They are going to qualify for at least the Europa League. They are going to be competing and they are a good team. And I also think that if he goes to Liverpool, to Newcastle, he will sit Kieran Trippier on the bench. Trippier is already in his 30s, and I think Ola Aina is even better than him anyway.
mm-hmm,
So teams like that, I would say, well, if you get the chance to join a bigger team in general, a team that you can beat your chest and say they will be competing for at least the next 5 years, and a team that would also pay you more money because those teams will pay him times 1.5 of whatever he's earning at Forest.
mm-hmm.
So I would say he can take that. If it's Chelsea, honestly, with how Maresca is using the fullbacks, it should stay. Chelsea is not offering him anything. They come and play Conference League.
Are you sure
And
Maresca will be in that job?
I mean, we don't know, but we have to wait and see. But if Maresca is the coach, you sign right back, you play him in center midfield. There's there's nothing that's going to do. All I know is the wing player.
Right?
What do you say?
He plays center midfield right back, center midfield right.
You know, or sometimes they play him for left midfield. So it's just all I know is a player that likes being played. Let him go up and down that flank. Let him do what he can do. Let him distribute the ball. And the way Chelsea is currently playing, I don't trust. I don't trust Chelsea's system.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't say he should join Chelsea, but I think Liverpool, if the opportunity comes about, good team, always competing. If he's replacing Alexander Arnold, why not? He can even play left back and bench Robertson if need be.
Yes.
If he's Newcastle, I think he can bench Kieran Trippier. No issues with that. For me, Tottenham, if Ange Postecoglou keeps on doing this nonsense that he's doing, stubborn man. You know, all these coaches that just my way or the highway. You have to do it the way I want. This is the debate that we're having on Friday. How is the way I'm playing? You must play like that. Is it where the team is languishing in what 16th?
Mm-hmm.
It's just God that help them that all these Ipswich and Leicester and Southampton are just too bad. If
Mm-hmm.
not, they will be scared about
Sure,
relegation.
man, you'll be fighting
You
for.
know what is
Mm-hmm.
holding him on that job now is the fact that they are still in the Europa League.
Mm-hmm.
Never mind you, they are in Europa League, so at least it's like you are putting makeup on a pig.
Yeah,
You know, it's still making just look
but
someone.
you know that if they win Europa League, they go Champions League.
Yeah, if they but I mean, well, I guess only one of those two teams can win. I
Yeah,
personally, I can never trust Tottenham to win something. So
no, they went away in Frankfurt.
I mean, actually, the man said I always win in my second season. He
Mm-hmm.
told us before the beginning of the season. So let's see what happens. But
If he didn't have injury, he will win this Europa League. You will say.
well, I can never, ever, ever put my money on
Yeah,
Tottenham to win.
can you put the money on Man U?
Not this year. But
Uh-huh.
Man U
Can you put the
historically,
money on anything in that Europa League?
if I wanted to, if I wanted to bet on who I
Mhm.
think will win, I'll bet on Bilbao.
Not Bodo Glimt.
Those
That's
ones,
the only
to even be where they are, we thank God, like they're already punching far above their weights.
yeah.
I think they are playing against who United. Is it United? Or they
No,
are
no,
playing Spurs.
where's Tottenham?
They are
No,
playing Spurs. I mean, to be fair, they can shock Spurs because Spurs
I
are
don't think
very
so. I don't
unserious.
think
But I don't see it happening. But they can. I think they can.
I don't think
Spurs are very unserious. The way they play sometimes
the team considered nearly 20 chances in Rome against Lazio. Lazio was
against Lazio.
is he Kata? Is he no, that guy? Is he Kata? What's that guy's name? It's called Kati at the back. It's this long name. He's the one that was missing opportunity.
Mm. But the only thing is that I just also look at it that I think the mistake that they made was they won the first leg against Lazio,
Yeah.
and they did not know how to approach the second leg
Uh-huh.
because you want to defend, but now if you defend, you're allowing them to just
Yeah,
keep on
scored the
coming
first
coming at you, everything. So I feel like they did not really know how to approach the second leg.
half.
But yeah, I don't think Bodo Glimt have a good chance. I think Spurs United final or Spurs Bilbao final.
Mm-hmm.
See how it goes. If it's Spurs United in the final, I think United will beat Spurs in the final because United have more pedigree. Their players have more pride, have
This
more
was
fire.
agree with this good
No,
shit.
but see, that's the thing with United. As much as I like to banter United, but look at how they play in the big matches. They play well in the big matches
See,
because at the end of the day, they have some players that dignity now, your own personal ego, your personal pride. Like in big games, Bruno Fernandes can put them on his back and carry them to somewhere. Casemiro can decide, I'm a former multiple time Champions League winner now. Like I'm not supposed to did rubbish like this. Maguire will show up
he's
when he
not
needs
thinking
to
about
score.
that against Newcastle.
It's not. That's what I'm saying. It has to be a big. Like, look at how they play Arsenal. Look at how they play Liverpool. Look at how they play Man City. Those are the games that matter to them, and they turn up in those games. I always say, like, when United are playing a big match against a big rival, I
Mm.
trust them. Even if they will lose, they will put up a fight. They're not just going to do nonsense. Maybe Onana can sell game, but they will put up a fight. That's one thing with United. When they play these big matches, they put up a fight.
They
If
will,
they get to the final against Tottenham, they will beat Tottenham.
we'll wait and see.
No,
They
if
are
they
going
get
to
to the final,
get past Bilbao. I'm thinking I will get past Bilbao. We'll wait
you
and see.
think they will get past Bilbao? I mean, Bilbao have a lot of energy, have a lot of ginger to win. So,
I think they will get. I think I don't know where the second leg will be. I think
mm.
another. You see all this Maguire offside pushing player. That one they can win. Yeah.
But I mean, Spurs beat United in February, in the league. But again, that was a league match. It's different for me. when it's a final of the Europa League.
Mm-hmm.
No, no, I think they'll beat Spurs. They'll beat Spurs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but yeah, I don't want Ola Aina in Tottenham regardless, because next, even if they let's even say they qualify for Champions League by virtue of winning the Europa League, I still think that next season they are going to be bad again. I still
Mm-hmm.
think they are going to be bad. I don't think they are going to improve that much. Postecoglou is confused. He
Mm-hmm.
doesn't know what he's doing. Um, but yeah, we've spoken a lot. Wishing Ola Aina all the best. Wherever he ends up, we'll be rooting for him and we'll be supporting him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, very quickly before we continue, guys, please, 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 if you haven't liked the video, like it. Less than half of the people that are watching have liked the video. I know I always account for 15% of the people that are watching don't like us. They're just watching to just
Mm-hmm.
see what they can see and what they can send to somebody for the person to vex for us. I understand. But the remaining, 85% of you guys, please now like the video. People that have voted, the numbers don't reflect the people that have actually liked the video, because on the poll people are saying yes, I've liked, but the likes is not showing the number of people that have been voting. So please like the
Maybe
video,
they
guys. Please, please, please like the video, please. Thank you. Support. Today I know they send super chats. Okay, fine, but please like the video, please, please, please. And if you want to support us with a super chat. We really appreciate it. Every little thing goes towards us creating more content for you, us towards paying our staff, and keep creating content and growing the channel as well. And if you want to share with somebody else, you want somebody else to enjoy the content and see what we're all about and learn more about Nigerian football and Nigerian football players, please share in your group chats, share on your forums, wherever you discuss football with your friends, your family, and those kind of spaces. Okay, we are getting to our final few topics of conversation for today. Let us talk about another Nigerian player who is potentially on the move this summer. Scored today, star boy of Nigerian football, Victor James Osimhen. I mean, Osimhen, the transfer saga that never ends when it comes to Victor Osimhen. We've been hearing about Osimhen going one place or the other for a very, very long time now. But news that is reaching us is that Victor Osimhen has reportedly, his agents, his representatives have reportedly agreed basic personal terms with the club called Manchester United. Victor Osimhen to Manchester United. Somebody on Instagram was already tagging me today. AyoT, Shebi, I told you Osimhen is going to join United. You can see now. You know, it's been like, what do you think about that? Osimhen to United. Are you for or against that transfer?
The issue is that Man U, they realize that the stumbling block to getting Victor Osimhen will actually what be the personal terms. And what they are trying to do basically is that they want to get that one over the line. And for them to agree this deal with him, I think that's actually what that's one thing that can stop the transfer from from happening. So I and I know that Ruben Amrin actually was a big fan of Victor Osimhen. He thinks that Victor Osimhen is the guy that can get the goal. Forget about the lap. I don't know. Forget about that. He thinks that Victor Osimhen is the guy that can get him the goals. So he's going to play. He's going to play. So let's just don't forget that they also have some big players in that team that can deliver, on a good day. But I just think that if Man U can win the Europa League, they get the Champions League ticket. I think it's not bad for Victor Osimhen to go to there. At least I will go and be watching this backyard.
You're gonna be watching him in your backyard.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's not a bad move. For me, I don't think I look at the Chelsea team, the mood in that Chelsea team is out of it again. They're back to their early time. I don't see anything in that Chelsea team for me to say Victor should actually want to go there. Despite them being, higher than United on the league table. For me, they are really, really dropping badly. That even home loss to Legia was Legia was that's another crazy thing. So I just think that in England, I think Man U is not a bad move for him.
Hmm, hmm.
Mm,
You know what I think?
mhm.
I think Osimhen should not join Manchester United.
Okay.
Even if they qualify for the Champions League,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think United have a plan or a clear plan. Ruben Amorim, they are trusting him. Osimhen does not solve United's problems.
Who's over
United, United's problem is not a lack of striker, it's lack of team, lack of identity, lack of direction. They are still trying to solve.
there? Mm-hmm.
They brought a coach that is doing much worse than the coach that they sacked, that they said was terrible. This new coach is doing much worse.
Mm-hmm.
And the coach believes that he is right.
Mm-hmm.
He's the one that is like, what he's doing. Oh, the players are all bad. Oh, they've shipped Rashford away. The same Rashford is doing well for Aston Villa. They've shipped Anthony. The same Anthony is doing well for Real Betis. They want to ship everybody out and rebuild their
That's a
squad.
very good point on that. Yeah.
Osimhen is going to come and they need to sign 6 players with him.
Mm-hmm.
And we even pray that those 6 players will be able to do what they want, what they are supposed to do, because they signed Dogu. The Dogu, waiting happened to him. They signed the Euro with they signed. What was he contributing to the team? So for me, I don't think he solves the problem. I think if he goes to Chelsea, he solves not Chelsea's entire problem, but 90% of Chelsea's problem is goal scoring. If you look at the top chances created in the Premier League, both Cole Palmer and Enzo Fernandez are in the top 5,
Hmm.
but they don't have the striker that is finishing off those chances.
Look at the movement of Jackson. Oh, my God.
They don't have somebody that is there, that is getting the ball and putting it in the back of the net. And I think if he joins Chelsea, he solves a big part of their problem. And then, provided that Chelsea can find maybe one centre back and one keeper, Chelsea will be a solid team. If he joins Arsenal, he takes them over the line as far as I'm concerned. I've been saying this since last season. I think Osimhen is that missing piece that if Arsenal gets, they might be winning the league.
What about Isaac?
Like for Arsenal or compared to Osimhen?
Yeah, for us now. Do you think that who's going to get them well line more? Do you think Victor
I
Osimhen or
mean, they're both quality players. Isak is better with his feet than Victor Osimhen. So
mm-hmm.
maybe for an Arsenal, that's something that they might like, because Kai Havertz likes to play with his feet as well. So maybe they might like Isak over Osimhen for that. But the tenacity that Osimhen brings to the field, Isak is not going to bring that. The drive, the passion, the relentless pressing that Victor Osimhen brings to the field, Isak is not going to bring that. So I think it depends on what director Mikel is looking for. Commander Mikel. If he's looking for a hard hitting forward that is going to hustle, that is going to press, going to give energy, then Osimhen. But if he's looking for somebody that he thinks can play more with the team, can do tip it up with Odegaard, with Bukayo Saka, all
Mm-hmm.
those things, then he might go with Isak. I think either of those 2 players will be good for Arsenal. But let's Arsenal take Isak. Osimhen should join Chelsea. It's his dream club. It's the club of his hero. Agent Mikel has been trying to convince him to come and join the club. And Chelsea is a club that I know that they fumbled the bag with him last summer, but the Bible says we should forgive. Forgive them for they know not what they were doing. And this time now, they will pay you what you are worth. And you
Mm-hmm.
can come and you can enjoy it. Chelsea just need to qualify, because that's the biggest thing now. If Chelsea don't qualify for the Champions League, or maybe don't even qualify for the Europa League, it's hard for you to convince him to join you over maybe a Manchester United or an Arsenal, or whichever other team is coming. So Chelsea just need to secure that qualification, finish in the top 5, and then you become a more exciting prospect for a player like Victor Osimhen. But I think Osimhen comes to Chelsea and he solves 85% of their problem. And if they can get a stable goalkeeper, they don't have Chelsea don't even need a world-class goalkeeper. They just need
Mm-hmm.
a goalkeeper that is not selling game. That's it. Just give you a goalkeeper that is not selling game. And one good centre back.
They need to look at what Sanchez is doing before the game.
you
It's
know,
really
is but I mean Osimhen, wherever he goes, I trust him. He's going to deliver. And on that note, Osimhen hit his 30 goal mark for the season today. When the season started and I said Osimhen must score 30 goals, I don't know if you guys that were there that day are in the comments now. People were saying, why are you setting all these high expectations? Don't put pressure on him. This one, that one, that one. He doesn't have to score 30. He had to score 30 and he did. because he is Victor Osimhen, a player of that quality, one of the best in the world, Ballon d'Or top 13, or what did he finish? How
Mm-hmm.
can you tell me that he should not be scoring 30 goals when we're comparing him to the best strikers in the world in Turkey against Kayserispor, Konyaspor, Boluspor, all this? Come on now. And I know that he's going to get us like five more before the season ends.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really happy with his outputs. You see that that's the reason why people are still talking about him like this. Imagine if Osimhen was not scoring these the goals like this in Turkey. Do you think they will still be linking him to all these big clubs and people will be talking about him like that? And people were telling me, AyoT, you don't like him. Yeah, setting all these high expectations. Oh, this one, that one, that one, that. I don't know what are people talking about. To whom much is given, much is expected. And the best players thrive under pressure. And I'm happy that Victor Osimhen is thriving and he's showing us that he's one of the best players. Now he needs to go and do it in a big boy league. Win the double, win the league, win the cup, and then go and do it in a big boy league. At the end of the day, these things will add towards his legacy and will add towards, what we love and what we see about Victor Osimhen that will make us to continue to talk about him for a long time. And in the future, when we're talking about the best strikers that Nigeria has ever produced, nobody is going to talk about how many goals he scored in Turkey. Because if it's by that, we should include Onuachu in that conversation too.
Yeah.
So nobody's ever going to talk about how many goals he scored in Turkey when we're talking about best strikers. We'll talk about what he did in Italy. We'll talk about what he can potentially do in England or in Spain, wherever he goes to. So for me, I'm happy that he has produced like this, and I hope that he can continue to produce as he moves forward in his career. But he should not go to Man U. He should not go to Man U. Don't go and join them in their struggle. Don't go. It's just like you see a man that is dying. You say that's who you want to go and tie yourself to. Unless you just want to collect their inheritance, but there's no inheritance to collect here. No,
Mm-hmm.
Man U when they feed their staff lunch, please. Those ones they are a dying club. Allow them to revive themselves first.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see next season if they can, something. But join Chelsea or join Arsenal for me. Or
Yeah.
maybe if Liverpool are looking for a striker, of course, Liverpool is the most stable of these clubs.
Mm-hmm.
If you can join any of those three clubs in the Prem, I think you'll be good. Obviously, Man City are not going to sign him because they have Haaland.
Yeah.
So for me, Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool, any of those clubs. Liverpool is obviously the best option. Arsenal will be the second best option. Chelsea is my own preferred option.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, that is that on Victor Osimhen's potential transfer. But speaking of Victor Osimhen, Super Eagles, is it fair to call him a legend? Yes. Super Eagles legendary forward Obafemi Martins was talking about Victor Osimhen, was talking about the Super Eagles, on Football Fan Tribe. Shout out to Football Fan Tribe, man. My guys love them, love the content that they do over there. Um, and he spoke about how Osimhen's goals are not enough. Even if Osimhen scores 100 goals for the national team, it would mean nothing if we cannot qualify for the World Cup, if we cannot win. Smilai, do you agree with this statement by Obafemi Martins?
For me, I think he's talking about the team play. That no matter how you rely on Victor to actually to score goals, if you don't put in that teamwork there, the that 100 goal actually what amounts to nothing. So I think it's right. It's right in some certain scenarios because if you look at what played out during this like World Cup qualifier, some people fail to do their job. That's just it. So it's talking about the team, but for him to also say it's about Victor, that is why I don't actually would agree with him. I think there's other parts of this team that is gelling together, doing well, creating for Victor Osimhen too. Don't forget that Victor cannot create opportunity for himself. So like, and Arokodare that created the last one, he scored against Zimbabwe for him. So for him to say that, I just think that it should not cause division in this team. I think this team is more than just to say it's about Victor Osimhen. There's so many things attached to this team that I think that we should discuss. We'll talk about Victor Osimhen and about his goals. I think that if it's 100 goals, we go to the World Cup. So,
You know, I think the premise of what he's saying is not wrong.
mhm,
The team needs to be more of a team. We
yeah,
have a bunch of individual players, good players individually, but we don't play together. That's the reason why a team like Zimbabwe can be drawing against us. That's the reason why a team like Rwanda can think they have a chance against us. Because based on the individuals that we have, just looking at the names on paper, we should be stand out in Africa.
Mm-hmm.
But football is not played on paper, famous saying. You actually have to come on the field and do the job. And we've not been able to play like a team. The last time we played as a team really was at the AFCON, where you
Mm-hmm.
could see that everybody was playing to instruction, playing organized football, playing for each other, working hard for each other. It did not matter whether Lukman was the one shining or Osimhen was the one or Ekong or whoever. Everybody was playing together for a common goal.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we need to happen. Osimhen is doing his part,
Mm-hmm.
but at the end of the day, when we talk about greatness, when we talk about, records, history, legend, your individual matters, but what the team is also able to achieve matters a lot.
Yes.
Imagine Osimhen never playing in the World Cup. When you're comparing him to other strikers or attackers from the past years, it might be hard to really say that he's as legendary as them. On an
Yeah.
individual basis, yes, he can be better than them. You can say he was better, but in terms of legendary status, it's hard for you to say, oh, he's more legendary than somebody that played at two World Cups, scored, more goals. Like, for example, like as of now, Osimhen is not as legendary as Ahmed Musa.
Think so?
It's not as legendary as Ahmed Musa.
It's not for Nigeria,
Yeah, he's a better player for sure,
yeah.
but
Mm-hmm.
we are talking about legend of Ahmed Musa.
Mm-hmm.
The goals he scored at the World Cup can never be forgotten. He
AFCON
won the
winner.
AFCON in 2013.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why the team success matters at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
His career also, he needs to win trophies for both his club and for his country.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something that is going to see this generation of talents that we have right now. I just know that if they don't qualify for this World Cup and a lot of them phase out of the team within the next 4 years, it is going to be something that will haunt them for a long time.
Yeah.
And it's something that when they are done playing, they will
Mm-hmm.
look at their careers and they'll be like, wow, I can't believe I didn't qualify for the World Cup. I
Yeah.
can't believe I didn't play in the World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you are living in a generation that FIFA has done you a favor and expanded the World Cup
Mm-hmm.
and you still don't qualify. And
Mm-hmm.
man, one of the sad things in this life is living with regret.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I really hope that they understand this, man. They need to play as a team. They need to
Mm-hmm.
play as a team. Osimhen will score his goals. That one, wake me up from sleep. Osimhen will score. I don't think
Mm-hmm.
anybody doubts that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the premise of what Obafemi Martins was saying is correct. Even if Osimhen scores 100 goals, if the team doesn't play together and achieve success together, it's
Yeah.
not really going to matter that much. It's only for Osimhen's personal pride and for his personal record. But
Yes.
then nobody, Nigerian fans are so we live through Osimhen. Oh, the more success we see him attain, the happier we get. But let's be realistic. If they ask any fan today, if Osimhen does not score for the rest of his career, but Nigeria should win the AFCON and qualify for the World Cup, which one will you take?
Ah. I know what to say, but as an average fan, that is you have to let the country. The
Yes,
country.
that's the thing. At the end of the day, if Osimhen does not score another goal, and if Super Eagles are doing well, they'll come and even insult him, say, I beg that one, never even they score again. It's like, that's the way fans are. So we have to look at what matters is the team. But
Mm-hmm.
I trust Osimhen to deliver. I just hope that the other players can deliver. I hope the coach can deliver. I hope the NFF can deliver because there are so many of these pieces that all come together. Look at the under 17 AFCON that just ended. Who won it?
Morocco.
Morocco. This is a team now that they want to be competing in male football, female football, all
Under eight
levels.
club
They want
football.
to club football.
Yes.
This is a country that is getting things right. They have
Getting it.
system, they have plan. We
Mm-hmm.
no even played down at 17 AFCON, not to talk about winning it.
Would you even qualify?
Hmm. So
Yes.
I hope that we can get these things right. Otherwise, this giant of Africa where we don't they claim since
We don't go.
all these other teams are going to come and show us that we are nothing. Oh.
Yes,
And it
no.
would be like, if you think it's bad now that people are saying are always comparing to the 94 sets, everything. Just wait for when things get worse. You see, I hope things don't get worse. But
Yeah.
if people think this is the worst it can be, I don't think it's close to being the worst it can be. Oh. I think
Mm-hmm.
things can be much worse if we don't put the right things in order, if we don't put our house in order, if we
Uh-huh.
don't get things right. Planning, organization. Hmm.
Yeah. Imagine not going to the World Cup and going to the group stage in AFCON.
God forbid.
God forbid.
But even AFCON, even if we go out, if we don't get to AFCON, you have to get to at least semi-final.
Mm-hmm.
As the Super Eagles, you have to get to at least the semi-final.
Yes,
Everybody
no.
knows that historically, Nigeria is first, second, or third in AFCON.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Historically, first, second, or third. So anything less than that, and it's like, what are you guys actually doing?
Mm-hmm.
This team already got to a final, so we know they can do it.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
But
no.
they need to just get over the line. And I think one of the things that is a bit sad is that, just like many things in Nigeria, you take one step forward, you take four steps backward.
Mm-hmm.
One step forward, four steps backward.
Yes.
So it's like as you think progress is happening, all of a sudden something changes. Because I mean, at the AFCON, everything go okay, things are moving forward. All of a sudden, the coach leaves, they bring in a new coach that is not up to par. Bam, bam, bam. Fast forward a whole 1 year, everything has gone back. Now Eric
Mm-hmm.
Shell is trying to figure it out again. Hmm.
Mm.
Let's pray, Sha. Let's hope. Let's hope.
Yep.
Let's hope. But yes, speaking of under 20, Smilai, the
Yes.
squad has been announced for the under 20 Africa Cup of Nations,
Mm-hmm.
and the Flying Eagles will be competing, hoping to bring home the crown.
Mm-hmm.
These are the players that have been invited. I don't know if you want me to run through the list very quickly. We have
Yeah.
Ifeanyi Ebenezer, Rufai Abubakar, Soliu Yakub, Adamu Maigari, Odinaka Okoro, Daniel Bambam Bamei, Emmanuel Chuku, Chigozie Michael, Caleb Ocheduku, Israel Isaac, Simon Cletus, Suleiman Alabi, Awal Ibrahim, Shafiu Adamu, Precious Benjamin, Ezekiel Anthony, Divine Ulisse, Clinton Jefta, Bidemi Amole, Tahir Magana, Theophilus Mendos, Parobo, Nathaniel, Matthew Kingsley, and Armiyu Yushao. Smilai, I know that you are usually well, you know, informed about these youth players and about these under 20, under age players. So, what can you tell us about this team? Who should we be excited about, and what are their chances at the tournament?
No, for me, they played the friendly game this evening against the Egypt, the host nation. They beat Egypt 2 goals to 1. So, and it's a team that though they didn't have enough good, I won't say they had good preparations. It's a team that the coach did not get some player he wanted to bring to the tournament. Because clubs failed to release them. I knew that he wanted to get Tai Yusuf from Olympiacos. He wanted to get and maybe Victor Osimhen also. So he wanted to get
Mm.
some players, into this team. But I don't think the clubs can, they are not obliged to release players when it's not actually what the FIFA window. So he didn't get them. But he went with 24 players, fantastic team selection, in my opinion, and Baroba really, just moved from beyond limit in Nigeria to what's it called to Norway, Division 2 in Norway. He did Lindstrom in Norway. So a good player. A lot of Nigerians who actually want to know him. He's a good goal
Yeah.
scorer. He will score this evening for them. There's also Benjamin Promise, also a very good player. He left Grasshopper FC. He moved to Offenham on the 19 team, and they've been doing so well too in Offenham on the 19 team. So we have some players in this team, that can actually. Well, I don't know, maybe I've tracked him before. There's one boy called Caleb Ogeshiku. I don't know if you tracked him before.
Ochediku.
Chejuku, yes. He's a
Mm.
very, very good midfielder. He's a guy that you watch out for. Which Ucheduku and Divine
He
Olise.
plays in Croatia.
He plays in Croatia. Ifeanyi Ucheduku, Divine Olise, and Bidemia Amole.
Mm.
Those guys in midfield, watch out for them. Divine Olise especially. He looks like Sunday Olise, but not Sunday Olise. Divine Olise, watch out for him. And also, defense line, watch out for Aminu Maigari, Adamu
Mm.
Maigari. Also, played for Economy Warriors, of Maiduguri. Energetic, right back. He moves up and down very well. Crosses might be suspect sometimes, but he moves that very well. So it's a good team. It's a good team, and I think that we should be enjoying the next tournament. I think that the team they are equipped to qualify for the World Cup. I think they can finish. They're going to play Morocco. They're going to be playing against Tunisia and also against Kenya. So I think they are equipped to actually to qualify for the semi-final. Since they are qualified for the semi-final, I don't think that it's going to be very good for Nigeria. So for me, not a bad team selection. The manager just use how to arrange the players that is at his disposal so that can present a good team. So for me, I think they should do well, in Egypt.
Mm. So who would you expect to be the, like, because you told us to watch out for a lot of players, but who would
Yes.
you expect to be the key man for the Flying Eagles?
Baroba really, is
Goal scorer.
is a natural goal scorer. In fact, it's like I don't want to say Alpha and Omega of the team. He's someone that the this goal scoring responsibility will fall on his shoulders. Because of how talented this guy actually was. This guy score goals for a living. You don't that is Baroba really for you. And more
Mm.
mark my words, I really will paint Egypt with goals. I hope
Hmm.
so. I hope he doesn't. He will paint Egypt with goals. So for me, I think Baroba really. I was tempted to say the van would say, but I just think Baroba really would be that guy.
Hmm. And I mean, we look at, you mentioned Caleb Ochediku. He plays
Hmm.
in Croatia. He was part of the last under 20 AFCON, but he
Yes,
was on the bench that time.
yes.
Do you think he's going to play a key role now, or is he still going to be bit part?
Yeah, yeah. I think he's got to. He's. He played. I think he played against Tunisia, the third place
Yes, in
game.
the final game, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, he played against Tunisia. So I think he's a guy. Good player, talented player. I think that. Playing in Europe. Then he was playing for academy in Nigeria. Playing in Europe now, I think he's going to be more experienced and he can be able
Mm.
to lead the team. Along with Daniel Maye. Those two guys are repeating on 20. So that is that. And there's a player I don't know if you have tracking before. There's one guy called Ilya Yuma in that midfield. I don't know, maybe you mentioned him. It's called so I think Ayuma also. I will try and get his like a first name. So another player that can actually watch out for. I think his nickname is Ayuma. I want to get his full name. I will actually double check on that. So for me, I just think that is Caleb will be the leader in that midfield.
Mm. And
Yeah,
Bam Bam, what can we expect from him in this tournament?
yeah, yeah. A lot of people might agree with me, but it's just the longest serving on the 20 player I've ever seen. you know, if somebody keep on playing on the 20 without promotion, on the 20, on the 20, it reminds me of one guy, is it Fofana also from Ivory Coast? The boy is now in Esperance de Tunis, he was
Mm.
playing on the 20, on the 20 for Ivory Coast for so long, just like Daniel Mamaye. So he has been playing on the 20 for the past four or
But
five
he's
years.
still 19 now.
Yeah, I think it's at the age of 16, 15
Mm.
playing for Nigeria and under this thing, after playing the league before. So it's just for me, I think he's gonna be the leader of the team. Don't forget that he was the captain of the last under 20, that qualified. So I think his experience is gonna be very important. Don't forget that the last under 20 took place in Egypt too. So he presented to get okay, guy, I know the way, guys.
Mm.
That's what we done for the last time. We
There's a
qualify.
person who no road now.
Yeah, but nobody no road though. So let's do it now. So for me, I think experience is go very vital. But after this under 20, he'll be retiring from under 20. So we'll see what is next.
Retire from
Yeah,
under 20.
I don't think he's qualified for the next one.
Okay. Lookman B is asking, where can one watch the under 20 AFCON games?
Yeah, it's gonna be live on the FIFA Plus TV and also on YouTube. CAF
Yeah.
Plus. Yeah,
I think in
CAF.
most territories, CAF is going to be streaming it
Yeah, CAF is gonna
on
be streaming.
YouTube.
Yeah, on YouTube.
Mm.
Yes.
Okay, Asmilai, final question that I'll ask you. When Nigerian fans are watching,
Mm-hmm.
youth football is not all about winning. It's
Mm-hmm.
about development.
Yeah.
Even though you said some players are repeating, so maybe they've not developed and we want them to develop more.
Mm-hmm.
But you know how Nigerians are. We
Mm-hmm.
always want the best possible results. We always want to win.
Yeah.
Anything less than victory is unacceptable for us.
Mm-hmm.
Where is the realistic position that we should expect the team to finish? Should we be expecting the team to go on and win the whole thing? Or are they looking like a finalist, semi finalist, quarter finalist? What should we expect?
I think the team can play in the final. but it might be against the, it's expect the Senegal team to be very tough, against the more, I just think that team that can at least semi-finals, at least semi-finals. Because if they play well in their group, they'll be playing a third place team in one of the groups. So which is going to
Mm,
be good opposition. I think semi-finals, then at least semi-final. I just think so, at least semi-final. So because when I saw the list of other under 20, I saw Morocco coming with foreigners, from French league, you know. So like I was just like, oh my days, look at Senegal to calling players from French league, the same time
mm,
because some of the other guys too, even Sierra Leone calling players from Arsenal, and so on. So they're taking it very serious, but I still think that our boys are good enough to finish in the
mm, mm.
uh, in semi-final.
Um, and just to recap, we're in Group B.
Yeah.
We have our first game on May the 1st against Tunisia.
Mm-hmm.
Second game is on May the 4th against Morocco. And then the third group game is on May the 7th against Kenya. Three
Yeah.
wins out of three?
I think the Tunisia came to the back door. They didn't qualify from
Mm,
the under 20 because Ivory Coast pulled out of hosting. So they brought in Tunisia last minute through petition. In fact, CAF chair should be suspended because this this they did not even inform anybody that Tunisia has qualified. They just sent a letter to them that unofficially say, please, you're part of this draw. So it's bad. It's bad. So for
mm,
me, I think we should need to be taking Tunisia in the first game. We need to beat Tunisia in the first game. So I think we will beat Tunisia in the first game.
mm,
I think I see Nigeria beating Tunisia and Kenya. Morocco might be difficult because the Morocco team that played that we're playing now, they played under 17 against Nigeria 2 years ago, and they went
mm,
to the World Cup all the way to the World Cup, and they did well in the World Cup. They beat Nigeria in the under 17. They were in the final against Senegal, and then the last under 17. Now look at Guade. So now they are becoming more mature team now. So I'm expecting a very, very tough team. Unfortunately, I don't think any of our players that played under 17 is going part of this team.
mm,
So, but majority of the players that played under 17 will be part of this team for Morocco. So I just think that Morocco might be slightly worth of our position for
mm,
Nigeria. I think Nigeria should do the percent against Kenya and also against Tunisia.
mm. And I mean, I said that was the last question, but I want to ask you one more. The coach, what
Mhm.
can we expect from the coach in terms of tactical setup, in terms of ideology, philosophy? What can we expect?
So it's a coach that's a typical Nigerian, coach that he likes to get the ball up front, as easy as as quick as possible, just get it up front to the opposition.
Let the
Then
strikers do the work.
you get yes to your 10th O unity, that is it. So just get
Mm,
it, get the ball to the box and everything, We don't really it doesn't really control games that much, That's another thing. Similar to Ladaboso style too, just get the ball, cross the ball and everything. If you see most of our goals are two crosses, don't they qualify as in Wafubi. If you don't have these tenets of control game where you have a midfielder, holding on to the game, trying to dictate the pace of the game. No, no, not to wipe and go front so that our boys can battle for it. So, tactically, for me, I think it's because I just think that it's going to be through the wings. That's why it's going with love attackers. So, I think it's going to be through the wings. So, for me, just a typical Nigerian. There's nothing special, but let's see because at least now we can see the game very well, not using name ceremony camera to look at his during the Wafubi. But now it's going to be proper call coverage, so you can see everything. So we'll come out and see maybe okay, oh, this is what they're trying to do that we didn't see properly during Wafubi.
mm.
You know,
And
so yeah.
no, so a bit of a different kind of question, but when you talk about this now, you say similar to Ladamboso, no real style, no real intention to control the play.
Yeah.
Just play it up front, let the wingers run,
Mhm,
let them get the ball to the strikers, and hopefully the strikers can finish. Do you
mhm,
think this is the reason why we don't have many homegrown, technically skilled players like that?
mhm,
Because we don't teach them these things as they are growing up, whether the defenders or the midfielders, they're not really good on the ball. It's just for them to give the forwards, let the forwards go and score. Because even a player like Victor Osimhen,
mhm,
Osimhen had to learn this technicality and learn how to really play football in the
mhm,
past few years. Before Osimhen could finish, but he didn't really have this technical skill like some of the things that we see now, or the intelligence with his runs, with his movement off the ball and things like that. Do you think it's because at this developmental level we still don't prioritize these things?
for it's not job of Alice Vero to teach these boys.
Hmm.
It's for him to pick good players from academies and put them together. That's
Hmm.
his job. So I think that falls to academy and club coaches in Nigeria.
Hmm.
It's all about winning. They want to qualify. Let me tell you something, IoT. If this man is not qualify for the World Cup, he's going to lose his job. If
Hmm.
his job a job, because I don't think there's any contract. But so they just want to get it done. That is it. There's no time. They didn't have enough time to camp very well. There's no. We don't say there's a guy that is the new talent. Most of them are in Croatia and this thing. If they have big talent, you'll be hearing Leon is looking for someone Brazil. If you're hearing those type of noises, but you don't hear that. They're just normal average players.
Hmm.
That's
Hmm.
it.
Okay, okay. Let's see what happens. Let us see what happens. But I mean, I'm hopeful. I'll be watching the games. I don't know. I might do watch along for a couple of the games. We'll see how that.
Morocco.
What is it?
The Morocco second game should be interesting.
Yeah,
This
we'll
is
see.
9 p.m. Nigerian time also.
The games are. I think the first game is
6 p.m. So,
yes. No, not 6 p.m. Is it 4 p.m.?
4 p.m.
Or
Nigerian time.
3 p.m. Nigerian time? In fact, 3 p.m. I think. I think all the games are 3 p.m. Nigerian time,
I think there's night.
unless they changed it.
Okay. I think they
I
put
think
night there. Okay.
all the games are 3 p.m. Nigerian time.
Mm-mm.
Okay, no, 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 no. The Morocco game is at 7 p.m. Nigerian time.
7 p.m. Nigerian time. Okay.
Okay, so the Tunisia game is actually 4 p.m. Morocco is at 7 p.m. and Kenya is at 4 p.m. as well.
Okay.
So 474.
474. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Um. Okay, Smilai, let us talk about the Unity Cup very,
Yeah.
very quickly. We're hearing that while Eric Shell is getting ready, preparing his team, preparing his players, anytime in the next couple weeks, we should be hearing more about the invited players. But we're also hearing that he's going to give a rest to some of the senior players, some of the more stable names in the national team for the Unity Cup, and go with some of the players that he wants to test out and that he wants to see how they can fit into his system and into the team. What can you tell us about this news that we're hearing about that?
So this coming is that most of the players that we know, not part of this team, we said it before that this is not FIFA window. So the club are not actually obliged to release these players to play. Don't forget that apart from this is not over, these guys will still, they still under contract, with more except players that are free transfer, already free.
Mm,
So majority of the guys will not be there. So and people are talking about home-based players. So I think that the time is too short for them to apply for visa, for those home-based players. So I don't think majority of the home-based players will also be there. I think the players that will be there are the French players,
mm,
that wants to come and actually what it is, they want to come and prove themselves that they can play for Nigeria. They are what French players that will be there. So he's trying to give them a rest. But I think the big boys will be back for the June window. So it's just because it falls outside the FIFA window. So I don't think Ghana too will have full strength. I think Jamaica and I think TNT might be coming with a full strength team because majority of the players don't play
mm,
in all these big European nations. So he's trying to rotate the team. So you might probably be seeing some players. You probably like Igor Ogbu. You can be seeing a player like how they're coming Jordan Torinaga. French players that can just come and take a claim. Players like Felix Agu that wants to come for the first time. Players like
mm.
Uche Santos. You see them. Frank Onyeka that he didn't play at the World Cup. Onyeka is not a French player actually, but he didn't play at the
It
World
was
Cup.
out of the last squad.
Was out of the last cut. So it's just to bring those guys together. And I think it's going to be like you know, the season regular players there, but it's good. Majority of them is going to be probably new player under Eric Shell. So that is it. That's what hearing. Yeah.
So, Smilai, do you think that's necessarily a good thing?
He doesn't have options because the Premier League will finish on 23rd, 25th.
Mm,
The players might have already booked their holiday, if you remember. They already booked their holiday and everything. Some of these players will just be going to Dubai straight away. You don't want to disturb their plan like that. So and it's unfair for you just to finish the season 23rd. and come and play tournament again, after. I know that some Premier League clubs are flying their countries to China. I mean, is it China or India to go and play
For yeah, all
for
this
all
promotion
the,
now, make some money.
it makes just to make some money. So, but it's just that the thing falls outside the FIFA calendar. So club are not really obliged to actually what to release them. So for me, I just think that that is where your thing is now. It's not
Hmm,
as if Chair wants to do that, but at least it should work on opportunities too. It can get to these new guys. Okay, who can help the guys that played in the World Cup qualifier, who can actually help them, who can come back. This type of tournament, we discover Abidjan, we discover some Obiefule in the past, we discovered players in the past that, and there's one man, is he Bello Musa Kofomata. These are players we discovered at that, this level. So for me, I just think that some players can come now. Before you know it, they can fit into this pattern and they can come and be our joker during the World Cup qualifier. So you never know.
hmm,
So for me, I just think that it's good that there's no pressure now. You should try new players and see exactly what he can actually do for them,
hmm.
do for him.
So, are we looking for players that are going to stand out? Because if we're trying a relatively new set of players and many of the regulars are not going to be involved, it means that we're not necessarily going to be able to say how they will play when it's a full team.
Yeah, it's just, and I think he's trying those guys in a way that they will be observing the lapses in the previous games,
Hmm,
and see exactly that, okay, this guy, for example, now we all know exactly how Aisha wants to play. So it's like try and plug some few areas and see exactly how this team can actually gel together. So, in my opinion, I just think that it's there to bring, just to make sure that okay, this guy can play self Chukwueze, this guy can play self Ndidi when he's tired and things
hmm,
like that. So you can't do those things in the World Cup qualifier. This is when he can try that.
hmm. So, ultimately, should we be happy or upset that our NFF went to schedule these matches outside of the FIFA international window? Because had it been in the window, then clubs would be obliged to release
Yeah,
players for the games.
yeah. I don't think he's ever that scheduled it. I think it's the organizer that
It's
he
the
said.
organizer that scheduled it, but we know we are to the highest bidder.
Yes, no, no, they just gave us the opportunity to come and actually to play there. If you remember, Nigeria, Ghana announced their own, what's it called, their participation earlier than Nigeria.
Yeah.
Nigeria announced, because they need to do some paperwork to and realize that, okay, are we going to benefit from this? And I think they spoke to the coach, and the coach believes that, okay, we can actually make use of this window. So that's it.
Mm.
So they are not all countries will play that time, May 28th
Yeah,
to
most countries be playing in June.
we playing in June. So we still have our June with us.
What
So
are we doing with our June?
I think we're half Russia and we're looking for now. I think I think we have Russia, but we have not announced that. I think we have Russia.
They've not even, yeah, exactly, the NFF has never announced that Russia.
I know, but Russia have announced it.
But anything can still change. Is it
Anything
not
can see.
NFF?
I just hope that they can get African team instead of playing against Russia. How will you play against Russia is under suspension?
I feel like the issue is that if you want to play against an African team now, are you
Mm,
playing the game in Nigeria or in their country or in Europe? If it's in Nigeria, it means
mm-hmm,
that we have to spend money because the
mm-hmm,
host country has to take care of the visiting country. If
mm-hmm,
if you read all the FIFA statutes and everything, that's how it works. If you are hosting another country, it is
mm-hmm,
on you to prepare everything for them when they arrive
mm-hmm.
in your country. You take care of all the everything within your country. And I feel like that's the reason why we always like to travel for our games. Because
Yeah.
other than the own personal logistics that the NFF has to cover, the other country does everything. If it's like an invitational tournament, the organizer sorts everything out, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I doubt if they are going to find an African country because really, any African country that we want to play, it will probably be us being the bigger team. So it's probably
Mm-hmm.
be us that are supposed to organize everything. And NFF will
Yeah.
not want to spend that money to organize.
Yeah.
They would rather just go to where somebody is organizing it and they just say,
Uh-huh.
come and play, you know.
Uh-huh.
So it's going to be very tricky. I mean, for me, I think if we're able to find one or two gems from the Unity Cup, maybe we can look at it as a net positive.
Yeah.
But I think the more and more this thing is drawing nearer and we're hearing about the possibility of things that can happen, for me, it looks more and more like, should we even really care about it? Like, I mean, we have to wait and see the list of players, and
Yeah,
see who is actually invited and who is not. But if it's like, it's just giving me the vibe of open trials.
yeah.
Just be like, okay, yeah, come and try, come and see if you can make the
Even
squad.
self, me self going there self, I was
You
like,
know, they ginger you again.
I mean, again, I can
It's
have some.
giving the vibe of just open trials. Anybody that is interested, maybe Agbo, yeah, you are interested, yeah, come, let's see what you can do. Oh, yeah, this one too, you want to play, yeah, come, let's see what you can do. Some players themselves might just even drive to the camp and just say,
Yeah,
well, I'm available. You want me
uh-huh,
to try, and they
yes,
can get 10 or 15 minutes here and there. But at the end of the day, if we're able to find some quality players that can, because I mean, look at our Super Falcons, for example. That's
yes,
how Okoronkwo came in. That's how Alozie came in.
yes,
So it can yield fruit,
yes,
but it has to yield fruit for us to really think that it was a beneficial tournament. So it's going to
yeah,
be mostly for vibes. But at the end of the day, when you put on that green shirt of the Super Eagles of Nigeria, you still have to deliver. I don't
yes,
care whether you came through the back door, through the side door, whether you are a legend. You have to deliver when you put on a green shirt. I don't want to see. I don't care who is playing. I don't, even when we were playing against Mexico with our home base, I still don't want to lose.
uh-huh,
So we have to deliver, and it's still going to be on the record. Nobody's going to say, well, it was Nigeria B that played, so it's Nigeria that lost.
yes. I get a lot. So how
So
this?
it's a tricky one. I wish it was World Cup qualifiers, honestly. Because at least then there would have been more excitement around it, would have been more interesting. But it's friendly, so because last June was qualifier, so that one mattered, you know. But this June, some players already be in holiday mode. Is I mean, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything else I want us to cover today, Smilai, or can we?
I think we're already, done.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, those are the major topics that we had for today. If anybody has anything that they want to talk about, please, you can leave it in the comments right now. Accompany your questions with a super chat so that we can take them. Otherwise, we will just do a quick wrap up. Let me just see what was going on in the comments very quickly and see if there's anything that I need to highlight. I think I saw a comment from Victor Cobham earlier. If I can just find it to put it on the screen. Yes. So Victor Cobham says Osimhen is exactly the missing piece that Arsenal is missing, but sadly, the team doesn't seem so invested in the pursuit. Like I said, I think Osimhen can be that missing link that takes Arsenal over the line, but
Mm,
Arsenal don't seem, Arsenal. When it comes to transfers, you can never really take Arsenal's word for it. They tell you they want somebody, then they offer you 40 million and £1. Those ones, they're not a very serious team when it comes to transfers. You never really know what to expect.
mm,
Okay. While we are here, guys, I want to do a quick um survey slash announcement. So we're discussing internally, and every once in a while, most especially on Friday Night Football Club, we get into some of these debates. Where we debate certain topics here and there. And we said, rather than us taking time where we're supposed to be discussing certain things to be debating, we want to create a separate show that will just be for debating certain topics that we have in mind or that you guys bring to us, and it will be a chance for us to also bring people on to debate. Whether you want to debate me, you want to debate Smith Layi, you just want to put up a topic for us to debate. We're still workshopping names for the show, but we want to get it started as soon as possible. So, my first question to you guys is that something that you'd be interested in watching? Would you be interested in being part of it? Do you guys like a debate format whereby, we're not just agreeing, we're actually giving points, opposing points to certain topics? I think it can be educational, it can be interesting. So, if you guys can just respond very quickly, is that something that would be interesting to you? That's the first question. And then the second question is, if we were to do that, would you be fine with us moving the Niger FC podcast to Mondays instead of Tuesdays? So we're thinking we can do the Niger FC podcast same time on Mondays, and we can have Tuesdays for the debate show. That way, we can do the Niger FC podcast, and then maybe from the podcast itself, we might be able to find some topics to carry on to Tuesday's debate show or whatever else comes up.
Yeah.
So please, guys, if you can respond in the comments very quickly, what do you think about that? Would you like a debate format show? And is it fine if we move the Niger FC podcast from Tuesday evenings that it is right now to Monday evenings? Please, please, please let me know in the comments very, very quickly so that we can just have a quick feel of how people think of it, and then that way we can know if it's something to go ahead with. Lookman B says
Because,
absolutely we'll be interested in watching. Make it debate format. Yes, that's what we want to do. It's debates, it's points by points, and then we're going on certain topics that are interesting, but yet maybe controversial or divisive to people. Isabel says that sounds like it will be interesting. Okay. Do we have any more opinions, or I just take those two people as you
yes,
know?
voice vote. This is about say yes, yes, yes. Thank you.
Yeah. It's only in Nigeria that if you dey watch, the nails will have more than the ear, but they still say the eyes
Yeah,
have it.
yeah, yeah. Yes,
you but it's something that we're really thinking of, and I think it will be interesting for you guys to be a part of it. Um, a lot of people like arguing in the comments, man. I want them to come online. I want them to give us their thoughts. I want them to engage with us because a lot of people don't like coming to share their thoughts, but they type
Mhm,
plenty. I don't know why. Chuma Iwobi says cool. So I think he's in agreement with that as well.
mhm,
Okay, I guess
yeah.
if we've not seen any negative feedback, Lukman says fine with moving Nigeria FC to Monday so it can serve as a feeder for topics on Tuesday. Um, Abdul Jalil says, let's move it
Okay,
to
good.
Monday evening. Okay, so the first person is agreeing. And Maker says, podcast stays on Tuesday while debate goes on Monday. So, like I just described, the reason for that is so that the podcast can feed into the debate on Tuesday. Because if we do debate, then we come and discuss. It kind of feels as if we're putting what they say, putting the cart before the horse. I be this thing. It just feels like we're doing it in the reverse order. If we've done the debate, then we now come and talk about certain things because it just feels a bit backward. So
Mhm,
that's why if it's something that we're going to do, the debates would have to, the podcast would have to come before the debate. So we can discuss things will come up, people will leave certain comments or questions in the comments, and then we can take them the next day.
yeah.
It seems like most people are fine with it. Um,
Mhm,
but we've had one person disagree right now. And it's in general, guys. I'm also trying to increase the frequency of live programs that we'll be doing here and there. I don't want to just be coming live for the sake of coming live, but when we have a good idea, when we have something that makes sense that we think will be engaging to you guys, then absolutely no reason, we can come on live, we can do the program. Hopefully you guys can watch and enjoy. Okay, I think
mhm,
as the judge in this court, Nigeria FC podcast Mondays and the debate show on Tuesdays. Most people seem
yeah.
to be
That's
most people seem to be fine with it.
yeah,
So that's what we're going to be doing henceforth.
yes,
Okay.
yes. So you want to tell people about the ranking coming
Yes,
up again?
yes,
Remind
yes.
them about
I'm going to
Friday.
mention that.
Oh, we'll wrap
So
it up.
before I wrap up, first of all, if you haven't seen my latest interview with Hamdi Akujobi, please check that out on our channel on Eagle Tracker. Hamdi Akujobi is a Dutch-born defender who is plying his trade in the Netherlands, playing in the Eredivisie, and he's hoping to be able to get an opportunity to represent Nigeria, the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Maybe he can drive to London for this. Thoughts is shared his journey with me, spoke about how he was able to get to where he is today, and spoke about his ambitions to represent the Super Eagles of Nigeria. So please, if you haven't watched it, check on our channel. It's about an hour and a couple minutes. Very exciting interview, very interesting conversation. someone that has supported Nigeria, even though he was born in Nigeria for a very long time. He was briefly part of our under 20, but he never got to play because of an injury. Really signed his first pro contract quite late. Who has been able to now grow as a football player. This Friday, we have another exciting series that we are starting on Eagle Tracker. Our ET ranks, where we rank kinds of categories. On the first episode, we ranked the best ever Nigerian defenders. In the series, we're going to rank the best ever defenders, we're going to rank the best ever midfielders, the best ever forwards, the best ever players in general. We're going to rank the best ever partnerships in attack. We're going to rank the best ever players to play in the English Premier League. We're going to rank the best ever players at the AFCON. So many different rankings that we're going to be doing. That's what is going to be on this series. Just ranking, talking about Nigerian players that have performed at a high level and placing them in order of their greatness and their ability. It's going to be really interesting. And the first episode is going to be out on Friday. So let me play you guys the trailer and you can let me know what you think of the trailer. I just think that MPFL is the best that I can give him in this ranking. Does anybody disagree or agree with me?
I disagree.
Disagree.
Hey,
Everybody disagrees.
I think AyoT said that for content. I will like. The only thing that can make me go against Talibo for being good was just because.
Sorry, forgive me. I don't like the way that is displayed. So give me 1 second. Let me just adjust that. It's not supposed to play like that. I want you guys to be able to see it in full screen. My apologies for that. I just think that MPFL is the best that I can give him in this ranking. Does anybody disagree or agree with me?
I disagree.
Disagree.
hey.
Everybody disagrees.
I think AyoT said that for content. I will like. The only thing that can make me go against Talibo for being good was just because he didn't sign for my team.
Welcome to the first edition of ET Rank. We have 20 Nigerian players. This video is going to be ranking the top 20 Nigerian defenders of all time. The lowest tier is called NPFL. Then we have the Super Eagles tier, we have the World Class tier, and then we have those that are in the GOAT status.
In terms of talent, I think he's not close to about 10 of these guys.
If it was my pick, I won't lie, I would have probably picked him in Super Eagles class.
And that people will still come for me because I'm picking this thing. I have to put him.
You're asking for VR.
This Uche Okafor guy played 34 games for Nigeria. Uche Okafor played at 2 World Cups. No problem, good for him. Football has never been harder than today.
Yeah.
That one is, guys, I can't wait for you guys to watch it. It's going to be very, very interesting.
Yeah.
We have two young guys, myself and Olu from Nigeria Football Weekly, and we have two historians, in Smith Layi and Mr. Didotun. So we are bringing that perspective of the new age football fan, Nigerian football fan, and we're
Amen.
bringing the perspective of those that have seen the glory days and have that history and knowledge. You see the way Olu was talking about Uche Okafor is very exciting content. But as much as we were playing around and we were having fun with it, we were also giving knowledge. Smith Lai and Mr. Dotson talking about. So even me, I was learning so much, and I've been learning so much as we've been recording the rest of the series. And I know that whoever watches the video is going to be entertained, but also going to be thoroughly educated. Um, so yes, 20 Nigerian players, 4 categories: NPFL, Super Eagles, World Class, GOAT. And it's going to be interesting to see. Smith Lai, you in the trailer, you said that Smith Lai was ranking his favorite Nigeria coach of all time, Austin Egbavo. So watch the full video and you'll see which rank Smith Lai you put him in. There were some agreements, there were some disagreements, but there was a lot of fun. And I
Yeah.
can't wait for you guys to enjoy that series. So please, guys, engage, watch, comment, so that we can get the positive feedback and positive reinforcements that we need to keep on doing this thing. It is not easy to come and talk for 2 hours. It is not easy to talk and to create content for 2 hours. It's not easy for our video editor to go and spend 2, 3 days trying to put all these things together. So please, guys, watch these videos, engage with us, like, comment, subscribe, share to your friends, so that the more we can see the positive results, the more ginger there is, the more everyone feels satisfied with the work that they're putting in. And of course, if you want to support us, you can also leave a super chat. You can also leave a super sticker. You can also comment, and I think they call it a super thanks or something. If you are leaving a comment
Yes.
under the video, so guys, please, 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 your support is always very important to us. Whether it be financially with 1 naira, 1,000 naira, $1,000, $100,000, in fact, $1 million, we'll take it. Or even if it's just with your engagement, please, please. And if you guys engage with us, those of you that leave comments, I'm always replying because I like the back and forth sometimes. I like the engagement. Even those of you that insult me, I thank you still. I thank you very much. Okay, that's all that we have on the books for today. That's all that we have on the books for today. I appreciate every single one of you. I look forward to seeing you guys next week, Monday. Next week, Monday, for the Nigeria FC podcast. And then on Tuesday for the debate show, and then you can watch on Friday, watch the ET ranks. Then we can talk about it when we have the Friday Night Football Club on Ground Football. We can discuss whatever you've watched in the rankings and whatever else Smith Layi has cooked up for us. And I will most likely be live on Wednesday to do a breakdown of Christantos Uche, Faustino Anjorin, and maybe Kazim Olaigbe. But I'm particularly interested in doing a tactical review of Chrysanthos Uche and Faustino Anjorin. If there's anybody else that you guys want me to talk about, to bring videos of their games where we can look at how they play, look at their style, see how they can fit into the Super Eagles or not, or you just want to learn more about the player, please leave in the comments so that I can prepare. But right now, I'm prepared for Chrysanthos Uche and I'm preparing for Faustino Anjorin. So please let me know if there's anybody else that you would like to see a tactical review of their style, of their play. Um, we'll get clips, nice diagrams on the screen, everything, and it should be an interesting one. And if the turnout is good on Wednesday and people enjoy the content, this will become something that I start to do every week. But the timing on Wednesday is not going to be at night. That's the only thing. It will probably be on the days that there's Champions League football, it will be at night. But on the days that there isn't, it'll probably be maybe 5 p.m. We just have to kind of see how it goes. Somebody says add Carney. Carney's links to Nigeria, are they as strong as they used to be? I think I might want to spend time on players that are actually like strong in terms of their potential to play for Nigeria at the moment. Maybe I can add like a Felix Agbu, something, but I'm not interested in like Carney right now because he's not really in the conversation like that. But yes, in for the sake of not just to keep on rambling, I want to say a very big thank you to you guys. Thank you very much for tuning in. I hope you guys have enjoyed today's show. Thank you for engaging with us. Uh, This is another week that some of our regulars don't seem to be around. I don't know. I hope they're okay. I hope they're okay because there are some names that I did not see in the comments today that I'm wondering.
Lovely. Yeah.
Maybe they are busy. Maybe they're on vacation. You know,
Yeah. It's
all
not
kinds of
just
things.
yesterday.
I mean, Easter was just So, but I thank everybody that has engaged with us today, from Monsong Bade to Nameka to Victor Kobam, to Lukman to Isabel, to Ada, and everyone that I did not mention your name. Thank you very much. Thank you, Daniel. I see you as well. Thank you very much. As always, this has been the Niger FC podcast. My name is AyoT, and my co-host is.
Smith Layi. Thank you
Yeah.
guys for joining.
Thank you. See you guys on the next one on Monday. Monday, don't forget Monday Niger FC podcast. Tuesday